good day. Good day, family. I was just looking over some things right here. I hope everybody's doing wonderful. Hey, Layla, how you doing? Good day. It's so good to see you. It is so good to see you today. I wanted to come on so I could read a little bit. I wanted to come on and just read a little bit, make it a normal part of my evening and stuff. Because I go to sleep reading and writing. Yep, I have all kind of notebooks and pens around me. Here the book is right here. Yeah, it's so good to see you. It's good to be here too. And everything that's happening. And it's a lot happening, honey. Babylon is falling, trying to get up, falling. It's so much happening and stuff. It's so good to see y'all. It's good to be alive right now. These unprecedented changes and stuff happening we never ever imagined. People really showing themselves and stuff, how they feel, where we are really in this whole illusion, how Mother Earth is reacting to everything, and the cosmos is reacting to everything, and all the damage and destruction that's going on, and we know who's causing all this damage and destruction all over the world and stuff. And then there were two I forgot sister name. I forgot her name, but she was talking about the two cargo ships. They weren't American, and it wasn't American that were taken hostage, but it's something to do with the Red Sea and them cargo ships out there and stuff. And I'm pretty sure America uses the Red Sea. I don't know. There's a lot going on out there and stuff, and we just need to keep our focus on us. Whatever happened, however America going to accept this or receive this judgment, because it's coming. It's coming. America got her dues to pay too. It seems like everybody paying their dues, don't it, in the world and stuff. And we just got to make sure we can feed ourselves and stuff, honey. I'm throwing bottles and jugs and stuff on top of my cabinets so I can have them. As soon as I pull them down and get them filled up with water and stuff, get you some water filtration tablets in case you got to go and grab your buckets, your 5-gallon buckets that Lead Farmer 73 and Lady Lead was telling us about. Get you some tablets. That way you might have to put one off in one of them bottles of water, them gallons of water, so it'll be drinkable. That 1 gallon a day is for everything, for drinking, taking a bath, then washing your face and stuff like that. If you got to wash your little outfit out, you better make that gallon of water last, because it's a gallon a day. And things is looking pretty scarce out there. For Black America, we done been through all of this and stuff. We know what a bucket, how far a bucket can take you. I mean, I'm just saying, I had it hard and stuff till I was 10, honey. We were using buckets till I was 10 years old. You better pick that bucket up and go. What you got left in your bucket over there? Can we trade this and that? Get all the babies different stuff. Everybody don't like Vienna wieners and beef jerky. They might like turkey jerky. I don't know. Just get them some little stuff they'll be able to eat out of their bucket and stuff. And I guess a bucket should last maybe a week, I guess, 2 weeks. Just depends on what you put in there. Get them some peanuts, stuff like that. Don't fill it with junk. Maybe have them a snack off in there. Some good healthy cookies will do. There's a lot of them. They come in a pack, and everybody can get one of those. I'm just saying, things is finna end. For infants, for babies, get them their bucket with their milk in it, and then have them a bucket also with their diapers and stuff, and that's gonna have to be separate for the babies, because you don't want to put the diapers and stuff in there with their milk and stuff. So just have theirs and stuff, and be ready to utilize what we got and stuff. Look at this little nice look. It ain't a lamp, but honey, I'm burning it now. Look. Yeah, it's a little lantern thing, and I just put my little teacups off in there. It's burning now. Let it burn out and stuff. Just get you some little things that you may have. You know, you might run across them at the thrift store or at a yard sale or something like that. You know, and that way you'll have these little things, and it's just enough light for you. You can read by, you can sit down with your little makeshift oven, run the smoke outside now. Look at what I got that'll help. You got to put together these little things right here. Let me show you. I know I should have left it out, but I'm going to want to show it to you so you can see. And just do little stuff like this right here, and it's going to come a long way. It's going to go a long way for us, honey. Get all the little things you can get for you. Get all the little things you can get for you. And then when the nonprofits and your organizations and stuff come out there with the other stuff, then you'll be able to add it with you. Let me see here before I get distracted. Yeah, you're so welcome. And you will. You will. We all gonna be the same. This is us. This is our life and stuff. This is us, the new normal. We got to normalize this. A whole new lifescape. And it's beautiful because we're doing it together. Look what I got for the grandbabies. Honey, lights go out. Yeah, put one on your wrist, your elbow, or your ankle or something. I want to be able to see you. If you walk from here to there, I want to be able to see. Get them for the babies. These right here is them little bags I was telling y'all about. It's supposed to keep you warm too. They real thin, but they lightweight emergency survival bags. Yeah, this right here look like it might have more than one in it. Yeah, that's real good. You know, and all these little things right like this right here should come in handy. I'll probably put one of these in the first aid kit. We're gonna go over that little survival thing that I got together that I'm trying to get stuff forward. That's on it. That's on mine. This right here, when we make our little makeshift, this ain't nothing but some dryer, you know, running the dryer to the wall and stuff. You might see it poking out the back of the house. That's all this right here is. If it's got to run some smoke outside, then yeah, that's what we're going to do. We're going to run that smoke outside and stuff and use that little bitty makeshift, whatever it is, so we can heat up these beans and franks. And yeah. Or beans, rather, for me. But, yeah, it's going to be all right and stuff. We're going to ride this out. Don't be wary. Let's just be wary. Let's be wary, honey, because I don't know what these folks done got us into and what they planning on doing. I have no idea. But I know we going to be prepping, too. We preparing, too. And Lead Farm and them been talking about this for a long time, some years. So I know I'm way behind with that too, but that's all right. That's all right because we each got to look out for ourselves. Oh, honey, I know you ain't in there probing, is you? You better get somewhere and sit down. Let me see. I know that didn't fall over by itself. Oh, no, you better get up out of here, honey. Don't you be getting in my stuff. Because I forgot and left this cabinet over here. Don't you be getting off in my stuff. We ain't finna do that. Got another thing coming. Yeah, I had to let him know, honey, that ain't going on up in here. So if I drop my $5, I expect you to say, Face, you dropped your $5. At least ask, can I get $2 of it? Can you loan me $3? Don't just take my money. I'm just saying, shit. He already know. Yeah, I'm waiting on him to talk anyway. All these animals, talk. Let my people know, man, when y'all gonna wake up. Y'all supposed to been away from white folk. We getting away from them now. That's what your dog's finna tell. Butch finna tell your ass. Sure wills, everything being revealed. I don't doubt none of it. But, you know, I digress. Yeah, copyright disclaimer under 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowances made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. fair uses or use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Non-profit education or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. Yeah, I got to get me some more tea. I didn't make none tonight, but I got some. Ashby lemonade made me a packet up and stuff, so I'm gonna have to get back on my tea, my hot tea. Yeah, I'm drinking some ginger now. Just put some ginger in your water. Yep, and it ain't even hot. It's just room temperature water. And I just cut me up some ginger and put off in there and stuff, because, honey, I want to have my own garden. I'm leaning over right here. And y'all, what you doing, Face? Oh, I'm shucking some carrots. Yeah. Gonna see me come right out there. Well, Face, we waiting on you and stuff. What you got? I'm gonna hold up a whole bushel of carrots. Yeah, I'm gonna just take this in the kitchen. I'll be right back, y'all. That's how we want to be. That's how we're gonna be in this new era right here. Yeah, y'all, just prepare. Be wary, prepare, because we don't know what's going on. Nobody even told us all of these agendas against us and stuff. I'm really the man, what's his name? Henry Kissinger. I'm really thinking about something that I read about him. You know, he the one said that it's easier to kill 1 million people than it is to control 1 million people. Well, he got this memorandum 200 or something like that. And I don't know. I just keep thinking about it. So I'm going to have to look it up and see what is this. Kind of like the American Dilemma, the Negro Problem. What was it? Volume 2 or something. Anyway, it's a 1,408-page document on genocide. It's the largest study ever on Black America. Yeah, we're going to get it. I'm going to have to do some research on it, but I'll just be thinking about little stuff like that, because we don't even know. We don't even know the half of it. And everybody seems, it is reasons, they valid to be, protesting the injustice, but it's still going about it wrong. Still going about it wrong. Ain't nobody still stood up and said, we still say leave Black America alone. Leave them alone. Get your hands off of them. Give them what you own. Because you done roped us all into this rope-a-dope now. Everybody in it. Give Black America what you owe them. And hey, everybody, let's dig them ditches in the back of our house so we can push that vehicle in there. Then everybody could possibly work together. But until then, it's the hell no. Everybody, you do what you gonna do, because we got to look out for us. I'm just saying. I see everybody out there wondering why Black America still ain't helping us, because you don't deserve it and you have not earned it. You still watching the whole country just crumble, and you still refuse to do the right thing. My ancestors, honey, yeah, you still refuse to do the right thing. And I'm not saying these disasters, natural disasters, are one way or the other, because I know cosmic energy is activating, and cosmic energy is possibly accelerating their attacks on Mother Nature, like the what's that man named Augustus Eureka or something? What's his name? Augustus Dorico. Well, he's the founder and the CEO of the company Rainmaker. And that's like a cloud seeding program to make it rain and stuff like that, supposedly to combat the shortage of water and for farms and cities that's, dry, stuff like that. Well, they did it 2 days before the Texas flood. They did their cloud seeding thing, make it rain, and it rained too damn much. They done flooded our whole cities, killed people, animals, destroyed land. It's a confession, if you ask me. He was telling about it, the man was. What they do and what they hope to do, what they stand for and shit like that. But here's the thing, though, another thing. Trump, let me get this right now. He canceled the weather reporting programs. Well, I got it somewhere. I got on my glasses and stuff. But yeah, the satellite, the weather satellite or something like that, y'all. Trump ass canceled it. Yes, he did. You know, all of this right here is just going to make everybody vulnerable to whatever coming, whether it's fire, flood, meteor, missile. Ain't nobody gonna get no warnings and stuff. Just keep your eyes on the prize. Everybody else is. Watch the skies. Look at the skies, see what's going on and stuff. I don't know. I ain't seen two suns yet, but yeah, it's so much going on and stuff. Let's just get ready, honey. Let our babies know so they don't be, stressing you out and stuff. Because they don't understand, they gonna push back against it, especially with the food. Let them know now. They old enough now. They smart, very intelligent. We just letting them use their intelligence for other stuff on social media. But if we turn their focus to what's going on in the world and let them know how critical it is, because this is their future. Mine already know. What y'all plan on doing about these robots and stuff that y'all gonna live with? If you gonna walk around with you a backpack on with some water? I mean, how you gonna? They looking like human. A little water might not hurt them and stuff. This gonna be their future. I'm just trying to get their mind acclimated. Water might not do them a damn bit of good, but they need to start thinking about it because this is their future. But we need to stop it, y'all. It ain't gonna be no good for Black America. Other people know it ain't gonna be no good for Black America. Oh, I don't have Netflix no more, y'all, but it's supposed to be a movie on there with I guess it's starring Bruce Willis, and it's called a surrogate, SURI, something like that. Surrogate, not surrogate where somebody have a baby for you. But I ain't seen it. I ain't got Netflix no more. But it's supposed to be a foreteller of some things to come. I don't know if it's got to do with the jabs, that jabber that everybody took, and don't know what's happening to them. If you did take them jabbers, and you know you took more than one, monitor your body right about now. Monitor your body, how you feeling right about now. You need to start paying attention to what your body is telling you and stuff. Because if you took that jabber, more than one anyway, yeah, you need to be on the lookout for any type of weird feelings and anything like that with yourself. Go get the D-dimer test. Look it up and stuff. And that'll let you know if you got that spike protein or what have you growing inside of you. Because that movie right there showed a lot of people just falling out dead. Walking and just fall out. Everybody falling out dead. Yeah. But then there's another movie I used to look at. It's a documentary, actually. And it's on Rumble TV. And it's called Died Suddenly. Died suddenly. And people just, come find out it was the people that took the jabber that was growing this thing inside of them. It was like a thick rubber band. I've done talked about it before, like a thick rubber band. But the thing is, I ain't trying to scare you. I'm trying to let you know. You better start eating some cilantro. Eat cilantro just to be eating it. Because cilantro gets 91% lead, 87% mercury out of your body. My numbers might be off. I'm going to have to put it back up and stuff. But yeah, this thing that's growing from these jabs, it looked like this right here. Look like rubber band. Any kind. All kind. The thicker your vein is, then that's the way that shit gonna grow. They call it white fibrous structure. And this right here is a big rubber band. They said in the video that it looks like calamari. I don't know what that is. I ain't never seen it before. But to me, the stuff looked like rubber bands. And as you see, the rubber band, yeah, these been in my hair. As you see, the rubber bands are different shapes, different thicknesses to them. Well, your veins are different in your body. They are different lengths. The longest one that they pulled out was like 3 feet long. And they pulled it out somebody's leg. I think it came out their leg. But what happened was, yeah, it ain't no movie spoilers. Fuck that. Oh, that rubber band. What happened was it was the embalmers of the deceased people. They couldn't get the embalming fluid in them. So they were wondering what's going on, why we can't get the embalming fluid in these people. We ain't never had this happen, ever. Come find out when they cut the vein and they seen that it was off in there and they pulled it out. And that's what it is. So if you did take that jab and stuff, you better get on the queue. I got something somewhere with some white nettle tea and some other stuff like that, some other herbs that's supposed to flush all of that out. Go to Radical Sister on YouTube, and she possibly could help you to chelate. Or maybe that's just radiation she dealing with. I don't know. I didn't take nothing. Don't give me nothing. However, it is in foods. They're putting the jabber. They ain't got to jab you now. You're going to eat it. It's in like lettuce. Yeah. It's in like lettuce. I got that lettuce right there that I bought somewhere. But that's all I'm going to have. After that right there, I won't have no more lettuce. I'm going to have to get some lettuce from y'all. But I ain't finna have no more today lettuce. Yesterday lettuce. No, I'm going to stick with them lettuce that I got over there. If I got to give, go over there and say, Ashby, can you give me some of your lettuce that I gave you? Because her garden is growing beautiful. And she facing the sun. I think I want to give me another apartment. Can I please transfer to the first apartment facing the sun? I'm going to ask them too. I'm going to let y'all know what they say. Because I might be moving again. Fuck the dumb shit. I need the sun. Oh, judgment. All right. But I'm just saying. But let's read anyway. Just, yeah, don't worry, family. Just go ahead and start preparing. Start prepping for us. Start prepping for us. For them babies and stuff. And you know they got some good ideas, honey. When they know what's going on. And they know you need help. And ideas and stuff. And you just ain't going to know what to do. Mama, I put it together. Yeah, I got this. I can put it together. Because you're going to need that generator, Black America. You're going to need them solar lights, them solar panels, even if it's just one. With that one solar panel, I don't know if you get it just 2 or if it's just 1. 2 would definitely do. And you could get them portable. You could get them portable. That's why your organizations and your nonprofits need to get their asses out there. With that last bit of grant that they claim they got. Oh, this the last one. You better use it wisely. You still get the diapers and the tissue and toothpaste and stuff like that. And now your ass need to do the right thing for once in your damn life. Since you've been sitting there proclaiming your love for the people. Go out and get some soil, some flower pots, get all that good stuff. Get solar panels. Somebody, you're going to spend at least $10,500 on solar panels. Each family going to get one. Each family going to get one. I don't know how y'all intelligent asses don't do it. Figure it out so they don't get over on your asses and come over there and get 2 or 3. Going to come be getting 2 or 3 damn solar panels. We need to make sure everybody, this way nobody left behind. We need to make sure everybody get at least 1 solar panel, 1 generator. So your nonprofits and organizations and stuff, you're going to have to be on top of this. People really need these things. That little thing I just showed you, come out with these, add these right here to your hand warmers. Because y'all know they'll bust out with some hand warmers and foot warmers in a minute. Add this right here too. I'm just saying, add them little bitty lanterns. Bring some tea lights. Little blankets and stuff like that. Have little buckets sitting on the side that's already fixed up. Oh, that's all right, man. Going over there, we got Pampers in the bucket. That bucket right there, size newborn, 1 month, 2 month, 3 month, whatever you going to get you 2 or 3 of them for that baby. And yep, that's what y'all need to do. Sure do. Everybody need to stop playing the motherfucking fool now and pussyfooting us around. I'm pretty sure everybody know what's going on. We just don't know. So yeah, I'm just here to say, yeah, don't try to sacrifice us again. Do not try to sacrifice Black America. Hell, at least tell us. At least tell the people that you finna sacrifice them. And you ain't coming to help them. They're gonna have to deal with what's going on their own. Food, water, shelter, clothing, self-care, injuries. Gonna have to deal with all that on our own, honey. You better learn how to set a splint. You don't know how, you better find out a way and learn how to do some CPR. Yeah, all that. We got to do it. And they need to be making it accessible, affordable, and free. The nonprofits need to be, hey, we need to, you a CPR, you know CPR, I know you charge and stuff, but we need our communities to learn these things. Basic first aids. So can you do it for like a week or two? And we'll just have people sign up. Maybe 3 weeks, a month. I don't know. And get a couple of people that, that know these things. Your clinics and first aid, urgency care, and all that shit. And so that people be able to take care of themselves better. I'm just saying. Shit, what the fuck? Y'all motherfuckers will sit there and let them sacrifice everybody. Thinking white America gonna live on and on and on. I guess ain't none of that gonna happen if folks don't do the right thing. If America especially don't do the right thing, honey, ain't nothing gonna get better. My ancestors gonna make sure of that. But I digress. I'm here for it, honey. We reading White Fragility. Why it's so hard for white people to talk about racism. And this is Robin DiAngelo. The foreword is by Michael Eric Dyson. And we just finished reading his book. Tears We Cannot Stop. Well, move. Tears We Cannot Stop, a sermon to white America. And he did so wonderful in that. So I felt like it was, it was fitting to read this right here because he did the foreword. And, after his sermon and her sermon too, we'll go on to our regular learning and stuff. Hopefully, white folks, these books are late. Maybe white folks will learn now from the lessons that's being taught to them. And I'm sure it's other authors too. This ain't like Red Summer and lynching, 100 Years of Lynchings and, all of the books that we do read. These right here are like, I guess tools for white America to see what the hell is wrong with them. That they keep denying. They in denial about all of this that has been done to us. And they got to face it. I'm not here to help them and stuff, but it just seemed like what these two books right here are, they're helpers. They helpful for white America. Yeah, they ass late. They should have been did this. When these books come out, I'm just now seeing this. Yeah, I'm just now seeing this. White America knew all of this right here. This was 2017. 8 years ago. So, white America, they still got to stand up and do right for themselves. Or things ain't going to get right for them and stuff. Nothing that they planning, even today, is going to come to fruition. No, none of it. And everybody, y'all must have thought Martin Luther King was talking to Black America. He was talking to white folks. He was telling y'all motherfucking asses that injustice to one is injustice to all. What y'all done did to us, your ancestors, your clan ancestors done did to my ancestors, they gonna come right along and do it to you. Yep. And look at it now, because white America felt like you were so protected. The government was so protective of you. And they was. Oh, honey, they were. Your ass raised hell on Black people. You took Black people through motherfucking hell. Your clan ancestors did. And you were so motherfucking protected. You was all out in the street, lynching, setting Black men on fire, chasing Black women, pregnant with babies and cutting their babies out of their stomach. You was so motherfucking protected. You knew you was untouchable, honey. So did. You thought you were gonna always be untouchable. But hell, then America's so motherfucking greedy and shit. Your founding fathers, I guess. I don't know who them people's is that's sitting up there and stuff going way, way back. Now they like shit. Hell, let's get rid of their asses too. They ain't shit. Cause y'all asses didn't even stand up for Black America. Never did. You never did. Even in all your love for the Black man, the tall, dark, and handsome white women, you still ain't got up off your flat ass and stood up for Black men, Black people, for all the love you claim you feel for Black people. You want to look just like the Black woman. You want to act like her. You want to be shaped like her. You want to think like her. You want to talk like her. You want to dress like her. You want every goddamn thing that's hers, but you ain't never stood up and said what your part was in all of this and how you could have fixed it then and how you can fix it now. You still ain't done the right thing. But yeah, it make me wonder, where your loyalty at? Since we talking about it and stuff, is you planning on being the new Black woman? I mean, you can't even tell who you is from the back unless you see some arms or the neck or something like that. I'm just saying. And sisters, some of y'all, we looking just like white folks. Honey, we look like white folks too. Hair down to here. Oh, honey, I don't know who you is and stuff. I ain't seen your ears in so long. I'll be wondering, is that your real face? Is that really you? Pull your hair back. Let me see your ears and stuff. I can't even see your eyes no more. I'm just saying, shit is fucked up. It's like zombies is for real. Not y'all intentionally. I'm just saying, to me, this seemed like one of the Twilight Zones, and I really wasn't into the Twilight Zones, but something is fucked up. I don't know who planning on being the new Black people, if that's what this whole extermination is about, because that ain't changed. Let me go blow out my tea counter because it's done. Yeah. Yeah, who planning on being the new Black people? If the plan is to exterminate Black America and Black Africa, now to depopulate the planet. To depopulate the planet. What they really want is Black folks gone. However, fuck the dumb shit. Everybody else, you get gone, you gone too. Nobody is exempt from trying to get Black America exterminated. Nobody is. No group of people is. Wherever they at. I don't know. I guess it's tore down now, the Georgia Guidestones. I think it was talking about all over the world. It was like 8 huge pillars. They was huge. And it was some man named R.C. Christian. He claimed he didn't know who it was. Somebody contacted him, was like, hey, let me give you a whole bunch of money. And just erect these up. And they was going around in a circle. And they was like, for all the different languages. You had Arabic, English, Russian, all different languages. And it was on them guidestones, y'all, talking about a one world religion and one currency. Some shit you be like, whoa, is this make-believe? But it really wasn't. Then I think they tore it down now because people started wondering, well, what the hell is this? Is this for real? And who is he? So yeah, all of that right there, everything is tying into everything. And 5G, when they turn that on, I don't know. Them ripples. 5G is going to be like ripples when you throw a rock in a pond. And you see all the ripples. And you throw one over there and they actually connect. It's going to be like that right there. It's a whole lot of construction work going on now. I'm like, is they getting ready to put up the small antennas in the neighborhood? Because see them huge 5G towers. They go up like, damn, how high is that, y'all? 50 feet? 250 feet in the air? I don't know. Hell, 300 feet in the air? I don't know. They look like huge chandeliers. But then in the community, and they got some downtown in your cities, they look like speakers. They look, you know how the front of the speaker look with that cloth over. They look just like that. Well, they not finished with it. For people thinking, oh, face, they not gonna hurt nobody, and then that's to download movies, whatever, But when they turn it on, it could work with the jabber. That's what some folks are saying. It could work with the jabber. I don't know. I'm thinking it could work with the chip. Your ass get the chip put in you and stuff here, and then you be trying to pick your arm up and it won't. It just starts slapping the hell out of you and stuff. Then yeah, it's probably that. But for them to put them in the neighborhood, y'all, it's gonna be every half a block or maybe every block. But they're gonna be the smallest ripple. So they're gonna have to be fairly close together. Them 5G towers is probably like 2 blocks, maybe 4 blocks away from each other. And they all seem to be the same height. I don't think it's some 5G towers that's 50 feet and some is 150 feet in the air. I don't know. They all seem to be the same motherfucking humongous military weapon to me. But I digress and stuff. Oh, and then what about it? Do y'all know? Have y'all seen any purple lights? I don't travel a lot like that and stuff, but purple lights. If you see your street lights turning purple, see what's going on. What the fuck is going on? I'm just saying. I seen that and stuff, and it ain't, on like certain days of the year when they change the bridge to green for St. Patrick's Day, purple for Prince, and all that stuff. Like, it ain't that. This is something different. Everything is something different. Everything is something different. I'm just right, I'm going to prepare and prep up and stuff, but I'm just like, spirit come through, spirit. Because it wasn't supposed to be none of this. And folks still don't want to say what it is and stuff. Yeah, folks still don't want to say what it is, what's going on, who doing it, nothing. Yeah, just act like, oh, it's just happening. I'm just saying, but let's get to reading and stuff. Adversive racism. Did I say I was going to back up to chapter 3? No, it was something. I lost my place in it. I think I will. And these are some short chapters because, I'm reading 2 chapters tonight. I feel like finishing this whole book right here because it's really, yeah. But I digress. Yeah, I'm going to start back at racism after the civil rights movement because I did lose my place. Each chapter is only like 5 pages, maybe 6. Children today are so open. When the old folks die off, we will finally be free of racism. I grew up in a small rural community, so I was very sheltered. I didn't learn anything about racism. This right here, this is her writing this to white people, white America. And this is what white America is saying. Children today are so open. When the old folks die off, we will finally be free of racism. Racism is a system. It's a system. Yeah. Old folk. What that mean? They still gonna be perpetrating and upholding the system. Excuses. I grew up in a small rural community, so I was very sheltered. I didn't learn anything about racism. Yeah. I judge people by what they do, not who they are. I don't see color. I see people. We are all red under the skin. I marched in the 60s. White folks got all kinds of excuses. Even today, they got some excuses. So, well, my granddaughter is mixed. Well, my son-in-law is black. It's all okay. Yeah. Well, that was a long time ago. And we don't even do those things, have those actions anymore and stuff. No, not in our vicinity around us and stuff. We ain't seeing the many hangings and lynchings that's still taking place today. We don't see the wrongful convictions. And we don't see that in the perspective we should see it in. White America sure don't. And us as black people, we don't either because we fear we're going to have to speak up. New racism is a term coined by film professor Martin Barker to capture the ways in which racism has adapted over time so that modern norms, policies, and practices result in similar racial outcomes as those in the past, while not appearing to be explicitly racist. Sociologist Eduardo Bonasilva captures this dynamic in the title of his book, Racism Without Racists: Colorblind Racism and the Persistence of Racial Inequality in America. Ooh-wee, Eduardo. He says that though virtually no one claims to be racist anymore, racism still exists. How is that possible? Racism can still exist because it is highly adaptive. Because of this adaptability, we must be able to identify how it changes over time. For example, after a white nationalist march and the murder of a counter-protester, the president of the United States said that there are very fine people on both sides. This comment would have been unthinkable from a high-ranking public official just a few years ago. Yet, if we asked the president if he was a racist, I am confident that he will reply with a resounding no. In fact, he recently stated that he was the least racist person one could ever meet. In this chapter, I review various ways that racism has adapted over time to continue to produce racial disparity while it exempts virtually all white people from any involvement in or benefit from racism. All systems of oppression are adaptive. All systems of oppression are adaptive. And we know Dr. Neely Fuller, my brother, he taught us that racism, it controls every aspect of life, every aspect, from war, labor, economics, every area of life. All the systems always adapt. And they classify us always. We headed for a new classification now. Yep, that's fucked up. All systems of oppressions are adaptive. They can withstand and adjust to challenges and still maintain inequality. Take, for instance, the federal recognition of same-sex marriage and accommodations for people with disabilities. While the overall systems of heterosexism and ableism are still with us, they have adapted in limited ways. These adaptations are held up as reassurance to those who fought long and hard for a particular change that equality has now achieved. These milestones, such as the recognition, oh shit, let me make sure I turned off the, okay. Because I know I had on the, thank you, Larry, good day, how you doing? Good day, One Box and Jaroko. Yep, tools that they keep denying, that's all right. Yeah, we ain't gonna make them. Yep, we ain't finna try to compel them or, I'm not. I know these books were gonna pop up right here, but I guess the ancestors want me to go on and get them out the way. But yeah, they being judged now. Judgment is here. So yeah. Let the J be capitalized. Take, for instance, the federal recognition of same-sex marriage and accommodations for people with disabilities. While the overall systems of heterosexism and ableism are still with us, they have adapted in limited ways. These adaptations are held up as reassurance to those who fought long and hard for a particular change that equality has now achieved. These milestones, such as the recognition of same-sex marriage, the passage of the Americans with Disabilities Act Title IX, the election of Barack Obama, are of course significant and worthy of celebration. But systems of oppression are deeply rooted and not overcome with the simple passage of legislation. Advances are also tenuous, as we can see in recent challenges to the rights of LGBTQI. I didn't know it was an I added on there, but that's lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, or questioning, and intersex. I don't even know what that means, but there it is. People. Systems of oppression are not completely inflexible, but they are far less flexible than popular ideology would acknowledge. And the collective impact of the inequitable distribution of resources continues across history. I don't know about all of that and stuff. That's really not a part of my life and stuff. However, I would like to say to Black America, that has been weaponized against your ass to the same sex thing right there. He said something different, and yeah, she is, and that very well may be true. But what I'm saying to Black America is, as far as that goes, same-sex marriage and stuff like that. White America gonna change their mind. White America gonna change their mind and go back to heterosexual. And it's gonna be you, Black America. You who put your all. See, Black America are sincere in every motherfucking thing we do. We sincere in it. It's gonna take hell, a hot water, and a hot ass iron to get us to change our mind. But I'm just saying, when this illusion is completely broken, and you can actually see outside the move it out, get the shards out the way and stuff, and you see what's really going on and stuff, that's what it's gonna take. Because Black America will ride everything to the hill, but everything has been manipulated. Everything have. See, the same-sex marriage, when the law was passed and stuff, somewhere along the way, they decided to use that against us too. Yeah. And we are so traumatized, Black America. I ain't judging nobody and stuff. I'm not judging nobody. Because if I wasn't a tomboy when I was young, if my ancestors didn't talk to me and lead me and stuff, and I was in religion and stuff, I don't know what it would have been. I probably would have been, yeah. So I'm not judging you and stuff, but I am letting you know, you're on this planet to have Black babies. You on this planet to have Black babies and heal Black people. See, all of this loving who you love, who you want to love and stuff, we got to look at it for what it is. Black America, you must look at it for what it is. Maybe you old now, you know you ain't have no more kids and stuff, but the point of it is that kids is seeing you, little babies is seeing you with that. That's sending a message to them. See, all of these things are being weaponized against us. Everything is. Every single thing has got its own purpose, but behind that, it's got a separate purpose for us too. It's got a separate purpose for us too. I'm just saying, you know, outside of your race, not having Black babies, that's weaponized against you. It only takes 3 generations to wash your Black ass right on up out the gene pool. That mixed baby right there, you love her too. She love you, look just like you. Look just like your mama. Yeah, but she can grow up and stuff, especially when she get around her white family and stuff, and decide that, yeah, I want to go on vacation every year. I'm going to marry me Mr. Charlie. Honey, she go get her 2 big old rings from Mr. Charlie. Yeah, with his old racist ass, honey. Her family ain't seen her in so long. Honey, living up there on the big hill in that big old house. Mr. Charlie done put a big old ring on her finger. Honey, yeah, they had them some white babies and stuff. And when she seen the Confederacy and stuff, you know, it hurt her. It hurt her at first and stuff, because she knew what it was. But then she was like, yeah, I got to do what's right for me and these babies and stuff, and we'll live the good life. We'll live the better life. But see, all that right there is superficial. All that right there is superficial, because that shit finna be washed away. Yep. Mother Earth going back natural. Mother Earth going back to her afro. Sure will. There ain't finna be no more weaves, no more perms. Ain't finna be no more extensions and clips and lashes and stuff like that. In other words, Mother Nature going back all black. She going back all black. That's the only way I know how to put it and stuff. It just came to me just now. Mother Earth going back all black. I suggest you do the same, Black America. I suggest you do the same. I don't know. I'm not here to judge you and stuff. I just want us to know that, yeah, all of that ain't going to do you no good. Yep, we got to be comfortable. Be okay in your own skin. Honey, I don't give a damn if you got a 6 head and not a 4 head. You got to be comfortable. We're going to have to walk in the truth that we done made today, with the decisions we done made, the past we done took, the losses we done had. We got to take all that, handle all that, because what's coming next, honey, you're going to have to be able to deal with it. You're going to have to be able to deal with it. Yeah, it's too hot. It's going to be too hot in them bunkers. Yeah. Yeah. Them all that's got to come off and stuff. We're going to have to go back to basic. We can't be out of line with Mother Earth and cosmic energy no more. Your religion and stuff too. I ain't judging you about this stuff, but I'm so glad it wasn't me. I'm so glad, honey. Because then none of you read between the lines of that Bible and stuff. You're going to have to pick up some more Bibles now. You got to pick up black Bibles. Yeah, you go out there, honey, you get the first red book or a similar or same book you can find. You pick up black Bibles now because we're going to need them, Black America. This is not for you to be scared and thinking that, oh, I'm finna hurt white away. Nobody hurting white America. You just need to know what's going on with you, for you, so you can help your people, your babies, your nieces and nephews. I know you've been married to Mr. Charlie for 15 years and y'all got y'all mixed babies and stuff. Fuck all that and stuff, because you still got a black family. You ain't seen them in a long ass time though. Ain't that some shit? But you still got black nieces and nephews and cousins. Your mama still over there, your great grandmama, your aunties and stuff. You still got a black family to think about out here. Now, just cause your ass sitting up on the big hill and I know the flood ain't gonna reach up here. So fucking what? Your ass ain't called nobody to come up there. You ain't called, bring mama up here. Bring all the babies up here. Bring all the elders up here. We got room. You ain't done none of that. So being in your interracial relationships and shit, what the fuck has it gained? What have it gained, Black America? They used it against your ass. Used it against your ass. Yeah, that's what happened. I'm just saying, since he brought that into it and stuff, I just want to give my 2 cents on it. But when everybody go back to normal, Black America, you're going to find that hard to do, because it was never your makeup to be turned inside out like this. It wasn't. So when everybody else go back to normal, so your ass going to look like a hot mess, a damn fool, a fool and a dummy. Take it higher. I ain't trying to be disrespectful and make you mad at me and stuff, but that's what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen. So it's going to be easy to say, no, that ain't the black woman. That's the black woman right there. And that's going to be the white woman looking like Keisha. Sure will, honey. That's going to be the white woman looking like Keisha. Going to be like, what the hell happened to Karen? Over there playing in the race riot. Yeah. Sure will, honey. Everything finna flip the script. Flip the script. You better get right. Get on code with Mother Gaia and cosmic energy. You sure better at this point call on every God. Call on everybody, God. Ask them. I know the Bible done taught us, though, that God is a jealous God. The Bible done misled you so much. Yep. Sure have. But I digress. Colorblind racism. Colorblind racism. What is termed colorblind racism is an example of racism ability to adapt to cultural changes. You know, I need to get me some Mullen tea. Mullen tea is really, you know, if you got any type of rumbling or anything like that. Yeah. According to this ideology, I just be on here just reading and talking and cussing and shit. Don't it? So fucking what? You ain't got to stay here. I might read all night long if I want to. I'm starting now. Thank y'all. Yeah, I know. I get like that sometimes. Really not, really not enjoying this book, but we're going to read it. Colorblind racism. What is termed colorblind racism is an example of racism's ability to adapt to cultural changes. According to this ideology, if we pretend not to notice race, then there can be no racism. The idea is based on a line from the famous I Have a Dream speech given by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. in 1963 during the March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom. Y'all know what I think about Martin. At the time of King's speech, it was much more socially acceptable for white people to admit to their racial prejudices and belief in white racial superiority. But many white people had never witnessed the kind of violence to which black people were subjected. Because the struggle for civil rights was televised, whites across the nation watched in horror as black men, women, and children were attacked by police dogs and fire hoses during peaceful protests and beaten and dragged away from lunch counters. Now, see, but many white people had never witnessed the kind of violence to which black people were subjected. They knew. See, after racism in Kentucky, 1865 to 1940, when the state told white people, the whole state of Kentucky told all the white people in Kentucky, look, you're going to have to stop lynching black people in the streets and stuff. So it wasn't publicly done anymore. White people didn't want to stop though. You know, the state of Kentucky had to say, okay, we'll lynch them immediately. And but it's got to be in private. And then they charged white people to come and look at the lynching in private and stuff. You know, so it evolved from there. That's another way that they adapted. So just because there's some quite a few Sabrinas that didn't witness what happened, she knew damn well her uncle Billy Bob, her great uncle Billy Bob, and her great granddaddy Charlie Joe, her granddaddy. She know her racist granddaddy today. The stories he tell, she know them ain't no that just some damn fairy tales. She know, they all know. So yeah, don't be trying to say and believe that white America today don't know nothing, didn't see nothing, didn't hear nothing, didn't learn nothing. Because honey, before we started reading Black America, and we reading good now, who you think we're reading these books right here? Who you think we're reading these books? I mean, that's by him. We got Ida B. Wells' book. We got property and stuff. But who you think we're passing on this knowledge right here? That were white folks. We're passing on their knowledge to them. There's no reason to keep denying that they knew what they were doing, that they knew today. Just because there's a few, couple hundred or 1,000, I guess. Hell, I don't know. They can claim, no, I never knew anything about that and stuff. I didn't either. None of it. So yeah, let's not just be a fool and a dummy. I'm just saying, it look a certain way to me, different than how it looked to y'all. Yeah, this whole thing do. You know, I don't mean to be, you know, all in my feelings and stuff tonight. And I don't mean to be disrespecting, you know, or nothing like that. But yeah, I ain't politically correct. I probably ain't gonna never be politically correct. But I ain't gonna curse you to hell, though. I'm not gonna curse you to hell. I might cuss. I love cussing now. I sure do. Since I first got through Red Summer, I'm gonna cuss whenever I feel like it. I'm gonna cuss whenever I fucking feel like it. I ain't hurting nobody. I'm not hurting nobody. Sure ain't. It's a wonder I'm still able to know. I know I got to get some kind of rain on this, but I ain't gonna force it. I ain't gonna force it. Yeah, shit. Yeah, I just got to be me while I'm doing this and stuff. I grow with it, and maybe I stop cursing and stuff. But for now, shit. At the time of King's speech, it was much more socially acceptable for white people to admit to their racial prejudices and belief in white racial superiority. Oh yeah, during King time, of course, they loved it, showing their loyalty to racism, white superiority, white supremacy. They loved it. Now today, don't talk about it. Don't talk about it. Don't say that. That's how it is today. But many white people had never witnessed the kind of violence to which black people were subjected. Because the struggle for civil rights was televised, that's when white people across the nation watched in horror. Now, how come is it still their sons, their brothers, their uncles, cousins, neighbors, nephews, granddaddy, uncle, great-granddaddy? They're still out here practicing racism, lynching boys, twins, taking them up on mountains and shit, and all this heinous, devilish stuff. So how? It don't make no sense to me. I'm just saying, once the Civil Rights Act of 1964 was passed, a landmark civil rights and U.S. labor law that outlaws discrimination based on race, color, religion, sex, or national origin, it was less acceptable for white people to admit to racial prejudice. They did not want to be associated with the racist acts they had witnessed on television, in addition to the fact that discrimination was now illegal. One line of King's speech in particular, that one day he might be judged by the content of his character. That one day he might be judged by the content of his character and not the color of his skin, was seized upon by the white public because the words were seen to provide a simple and immediate solution to racial tensions. Pretend we don't see race. and racism will end. Ain't that some shit? So that's where color blindness come from. When Martin Luther King said that one day he'll be judged by the content of his character and not the color of his skin. And white folks took that and said, oh, we'll just be colorblind. And that'll solve racism. Damn this thing. They said nothing about changing, making some changes. Colorblindness was now promoted as the remedy for racism, with white people insisting that they didn't see race, or if they did, that it had no meaning to them, none whatsoever. I don't see race at all. But they ass ain't gonna give you the voice or the vote, Black America. Clearly, the civil rights movement didn't end racism, nor have claims of colorblindness. But reducing King's work to this simplistic idea illustrates how movements for social change are co-opted, stripped of their initial challenge, and used against the very cause from which they originated. For example, a common response in the name of colorblindness is to declare that an individual who says that race matters is the one who is racist. Oh, in other words, it is racist to acknowledge race. Well, let me make this clear. Again, I, Face the Nation, am not racist. I'm motherfucking suspicious. Yeah. Now, I ain't politically correct, but I can tell you how I am. Yeah, I'm very suspicious when it comes to white America. Yeah, honey. Now, I tiptoe around some garden snakes. If I could kick their ass out the way, I would, but I don't want it to wrap around my leg. And a garden snake is not toxic, but I'll tip around some garden snakes and go on about my business and stuff. But yeah, I'd rather just do without. Black America, we need to just go ahead and do this whole separation thing. Start building for us. Where's the salons and stuff? I need you to trim up my hair good for me and stuff. I did it most of the way myself, and help each other and stuff. You trim my hair, hey, I'll do something for you. Yep, I clean pretty good. I mean, we just gonna have to start bartering with each other. So I'll watch your baby for an hour if you trim my hair. For a weekend, I don't know, maybe a weekday. You trim my hair, so that's how we're gonna have to be with each other. But yeah, all of this right here, this is too motherfucking much. I don't know. Maybe I'm gonna have to write a book. I think all this needs to be rewritten, need to be updated. Because it seems like everybody's just wanna telling white America what they doing, but it's just a damn slap on the hand. What the fuck? That's why white America ain't never took it seriously that they need to be righting this wrong. They need to be righting this wrong. We can't do it. Consider colorblind ideology from the perspective of a person of color. An example I often share occurred when I was co-leading a workshop with an African-American man. Now, she white. I didn't know. I don't know this one. And she was working with an African-American man. A white participant said to him, I don't see race. I don't see you as black. My co-trainer's response was, then how will you see racism? He then explained to her that he was black, that he was confident that she could see this, and that his race meant that he had a very different experience in life than she did. If she were ever going to understand or challenge racism, she would need to acknowledge this difference. Pretending that she didn't notice that he was black was not helpful to him in any way, as it denied his reality. Indeed, it refused his reality and kept hers insular and unchallenged. This pretense that she did not notice his race assumed that he was just like her, and in doing so, she projected her reality onto him. For example, I feel welcome at work, so you must too. I have never felt that my race mattered, so you must feel that yours doesn't matter either. But of course, we do see the race of other people, and race holds deep social meaning for us, white folks. White people. We might think of conscious racial awareness as the tip of an iceberg, the superficial aspects of our racial socialization. Our intentions are always good, and what we are supposed to acknowledge sin. Nothing. Meanwhile, under the surface is the massive depth of racial socialization. Messages, beliefs, images, associations, internalized superiority and entitlement, perceptions and emotions, all of that. Colorblind ideology makes it difficult for us to address these unconscious beliefs. While the idea of colorblindness may have started out as a well-intentioned strategy for interrupting racism, in practice, it has served to deny the reality of racism and thus hold it in place. And white folks know that. Yep. Racial bias is largely unconscious, and herein lies the deepest challenge, the defensiveness that ensues upon any suggestion of racial bias. This defensiveness is classic white fragility because it protects our racial bias while simultaneously affirming our identities as open-minded. Yes, it's uncomfortable to be confronted with an aspect of ourselves that we don't like, but we can't change what we refuse to see. Oh, countless studies show empirically that people of color are discriminated against in the workplace. Imagine you had empirical evidence that your coworker was unintentionally discriminating against people of color during the hiring process. Given your belief in equality, you would probably think that it was imperative to inform the person so that he or she could stop. You pointed this discrimination out in the most diplomatic way possible. Still, what did you think your colleague's response would be? Would you hear gratitude that you have brought that fact to the person's attention? Probably not. More likely, your coworker would have responded with hurt, anger, and defensiveness, insisting that he or she had not racially discriminated but had chosen the most qualified candidates. And the individual would sincerely believe that this was true, even though you had empirical evidence that it was not. This defensiveness is rooted in the false but widespread belief that racial discrimination can only be intentional. White people, our lack of understanding about implicit bias leads to aversive racism. Ooh-wee. All right, aversive racism. White folks, aversive racism is a manifestation of racism that well-intentioned people who see themselves as educated and progressive are more likely to exhibit. It exists under the surface of consciousness because it conflicts with consciously held beliefs of racial equity, racial equality, and justice. Aversive racism is a subtle but insidious form as aversive racists enact racism in ways that allow them to maintain a positive self-image. Ooh, that was a lot. Like, I have lots of friends of color. I got black grandbabies. My son-in-law black. My daughter is black. It's my goddaughter. She's black. Yeah. I judge people by the content of their character, not the color of their skin. I hire black people. I only work with black people. Oh, yeah. Whites enact racism while maintaining a positive self-image in many ways, rationalizing racial segregation as unfortunate but necessary to access good schools, rationalizing that our workplaces are virtually all white because people of color just don't apply, avoiding direct racial language and using racially coded terms such as urban and underprivileged and diverse and sketchy and good neighborhoods. Remember we were talking about urban neighborhoods and powernomics? Yeah, that's one way for them to let immigrants know when they come to America and stuff. You want to look for urban communities, urban neighborhoods, because we ain't got communities, Dr. Claus said. You want to look for urban communities, look for inner cities, look for words like that and stuff. That way, when they come over here, if they ain't pointing the finger at them, no, I don't want to be on that side right there. Well, here's your books, here's your map. Then they, whatever they get in and stuff, they just look for inner city, urban. Yeah, set us smooth up. Then they move in and buy out. Yeah. Denying that we have few cross-racial relationships by proclaiming how diverse our community or workplace is. Attributing inequality between whites and people of color to causes other than racism. And we're gonna work on everything, gonna fix everything, put all our resources and our protesting and organization skills to everything but racism. Oh, we're gonna say, well, let's just say it's against racism and this. And that way, yeah, well, racism will always be here. We just devote a little bit to that right there. Yeah. It's very insincere. Consider a conversation I had with a white friend. Now, these two white women talking together. She was telling me about like a white couple she knew who had just moved to New Orleans, and they bought a house for a mere $25,000. Of course, she immediately added, they also had to buy a gun, and Joan is afraid to leave the house. I immediately knew they had bought a home in a black neighborhood. This was a moment of white racial bonding between this couple who shared the story of racial danger and my friend. And then between my friend and me, as she repeated the story. So see, there right there is racial bonding. Maybe that's how they pass along this devilish. I don't know. It's racial bonding in whatever way it is, but just the conversations and stuff. Through this tale, the four of us fortified familiar images of the horror of black space and drew boundaries between us and them without ever having to directly name or openly express our disdain for black space. Notice the need for a gun is a key part of this story. It would not have the degree of social capital it holds if the emphasis were on the price of the house alone. Rather, the story's emotional power rests on why a house would be that cheap, because it is in a black neighborhood where white people literally might not get out alive. Yet, while very negative and stereotypical representations of blacks were reinforced in that exchange, not naming race provided plausible deniability. In fact, give me just a moment. Let me just say I will call back. Oh, shit. How you doing? What? Okay, man. Who the hell is you? What in the whole entire hell? How, mama, this a lot of buzzwords. America already gave everybody rights to fight back. That sounded gay. American blacks need Jesus. Yes, ma'am. No, you're on this planet to serve God. Honey, you sure on the wrong page. Yes. You is on the wrong page. Black men know you girls are going back to Africa. Do you know how to farm? Because back to basics means farming. The Christian Bible is your Bible. There's no black Bible. Enough. You don't have kids. Oh, honey. Yeah, you on the wrong page. You sure is. I can't make out what your profile looks back, but yeah, you on the wrong page. Obviously, this your first time here. Yeah, it's going to irritate you. So let me help you so you can go on and be where you really supposed to be. Because obviously you don't know. Around here, we only for black America. This is totally new. We're in a whole new era now. All that shit is in the past. You keep your white Bible. King James Version, NIV, whatever you got. I got you one right here. We're going to read it at some point, the contradictions in this Bible. However, you need to elevate your thinking too. Just elevate your thinking and stuff. I ain't being disrespectful or picking with you or nothing like that, but don't come on here with no bullshit because you very confused, honey. You're very confused. This right here is a black Jesus, baby. This right here is your black Jesus. This is my black Jesus. So if it ain't yours, then you damn sure in the wrong place. And I suggest you go somewhere else where you want it, where you need it, where you can learn something. These are black Bibles right here, black America. These are our black Bibles. That Bible right there done taught you all you need to know. If you still decide to go. Because, honey, according to this right here, from way I be thinking, see, you don't think like me. Probably none of you do. If you do, hey, my family, I'm so glad you're here and stuff. But don't let people tell you thinking wrong. Don't let people make you think that you got to go back to this right here and spend your ever after in heaven. Who the fuck would want to spend their ever after in heaven with these people that done did this? Where is 100 years of lynching? 100 years of lynching. Who will want to spend there forever after? If it's you, okay, man, then you in the wrong place. Because right here, we looking for somewhere else to go. We looking for somewhere else to go as above, so below. And any of y'all others too. I know I done got a bond with y'all too. But if you know this ain't for you, then don't be here with me. I could be by myself. I don't need nobody but me and my ancestors to do this for them. See, you know your heart still resonating with going to heaven, then yeah, you better get over there where sister at, so you can learn. And maybe when it come back around, you'll find your place back over here. But for right now, this ain't for you. I'm not for you. I'm not for everybody. Everybody not for my ancestors. You mad now, caveman. You so mad now. Look at Black Jesus right there. That's Willie Brown. That is Willie Brown. That's Black Jesus. You see that cross under him? Do you see that cross right there? Huh? Do you see all them devils right there? Yeah, don't come up in here trying to tell me about what I see, my perspective see. Because I ain't with that bullshit y'all ass been indoctrinated with. No. I'm not with that bullshit. I'm not going to heaven and hell. I ain't going to neither one. I'm going to the afterlife. I know where I'm going. I'm going to the afterlife, honey. I'm going to the 12th of never. You see it up there? You see that right there could be like it. Remember at the other place I just moved from and I had it down where, well, down over there, that'll be heaven. Right over there, that one look, that's big though. That's heaven. But right here, that's why I'm down on this side right here. Right here, that's the multiverse. That's the afterlife. Yeah, it go all the way down, y'all. It go all the way down. I'm way down there at the other end. The 12th of never. I don't never want to see white folks after this unless I come back to earth. If I decide to reincarnate and come back to earth, then all right. Maybe Mother Gaia allow them again. But after this right here, I'm going to the afterlife. Quit lying and telling my people. And don't come on here with that shit, okay, man. Go find somewhere else to be. Because right here, we got Black Jesuses. We got Black Jesus. I know you never heard of nothing like that. You ain't even going to tell your pastor about it. You ain't going to mention it to your pastor and ask your pastor, where's justice? Where's justice for Willie Brown? Huh? Where's justice for Emmett Till? Where's justice for Mary Turner? Medgar Evers? Malcolm X? Where they justice at? George Stinney? Justice for anybody. Where's that justice at in heaven? Heaven is white folks' vision. White folks' vision. If your ass, you memorize the Bible too, obviously. You didn't read between the lines. If you'd have just understood when it said, come out of Babylon, what was that? I just seen it. I said I'm going to write it up there so every time I want to quote a scripture, I can look up there and quote it for y'all and stuff. It said, come out of Babylon, out of mystery Babylon. You ain't supposed to, your sons ain't supposed to be with their daughters. Their daughters ain't supposed to be with your sons. Y'all ass set up there and memorized the damn Bible. Yeah, you did. And that's D-A-M, not D-A-M-N. Because I don't believe in it like that. My mama taught me, don't you be out there killing, stealing, and destroying face. You know better than that. I don't do it, and you don't do it either. That's how my mama was. Now, we all get out and make our mistakes and think we grown and stuff like that. I'm just saying. But my mama taught me not to be doing. Don't you get out there trying breaking up homes. Want somebody's husband and wife and shit like that. My mama taught me these things right here. So no, I did not crave this. And I don't keep it under my arm. But I will for y'all. I will for y'all because this is where I'm at right here. But I'd be damned if I don't have Black Bible right there. Yeah, honey, you got a lot of Black Bibles. Yeah. I didn't mean to get off on it like that and stuff, but honey, yeah, now you can go. Now you can go. Because see, this right here is you don't know nothing about this. There ain't in no book. I ain't wrote no book yet. I ain't wrote it yet. But if I do, honey, it's going to be for a select few. It's going to be for a select few, honey. I'm just saying. Yeah, now you can go if you want to. Thank you for stopping by. I don't know how you found us, but thank you anyway. I'm just saying. Yeah, you don't even want to understand. You don't even want to know how we got here. Oh, my ancestors, and how long we been here. Ooh, yeah, okay, man. Come back another time. Yeah, just go on and come back another time, though. But I digress. Let's read. Where was we at here? Yeah, you really. Oh, I'm like, where did this person come from? Okay, so yeah, the friend, they do this racial bonding and stuff just by talking about it. The friend moved to a Black neighborhood somewhere else, and She don't want to come out the house. They had to buy a gun and stuff. So when she was talking to her friend, they bonded racially over that right there. So she telling this lady right here about it. So they got a little racial bonding go. So I guess this lady gonna set her straight and let her know, well, I'm not racist like that. And you know, what are they doing? Trying to move in and buy up the block in the next 10 years? I'm just saying. But let's read. Notice that the need for a gun is a part of this story. It would not have the degree of social capital it holds if the emphasis were on the piece of the house alone. Rather, the story's emotional power rests on why home would be that cheap, because it's in a black neighborhood where white people literally might not get out alive. Yet, while negative and stereotypical representations of blacks were reinforced in the exchange, not naming race provided plausible deniability. In fact, in preparing to share this incident, I texted my friend and asked her the name of the city her friends had moved to. I also wanted to confirm my assumption that she was talking about a black neighborhood. I shared the text exchange right here. Hey, what city did you say your friends had bought a house in for $25,000? New Orleans. They said they live in a very bad neighborhood and they each have to have a gun to protect themselves. I wouldn't pay 5 cents for that neighborhood. I assume it's a black neighborhood. Yes, you get what you pay for. I'd rather pay $500,000 and live somewhere where I wasn't afraid. I wasn't asking because I want to live there. I'm writing about this in my book, the way that white people talk about race without ever coming out and talking about race. I wouldn't want you to live there. It's too far away from me. Notice that when I simply ask what city the house is in, she repeats the story about the neighborhood being so bad that her friends need guns. When I ask if the neighborhood is black, she is comfortable confirming that it is. But when I tell her that I'm interested in how whites talk about race without talking about race, she switches the narrative. Now her concern is about not wanting me to live so far away. This is a classic example of aversive racism, holding deep racial disdain that surfaces in daily discourse, but not being able to admit it because the disdain conflicts with our self-image and professed beliefs. And see, I never really understood that aversive racism. All the terms and the labels. Where I come from now, all them terms and labels and politically correct and almost on all levels, all areas in life and stuff. Them little neck of the woods down there, we don't know what the hell y'all be talking about. Y'all gonna have to put this shit in layman's terms. Break this shit down for us. That's why when I be talking and giving examples and stuff, I give it how I see it. You know, like the cosmos, us being God and goddess, and we have Godrin. Yes, straight from the cosmos. White folks didn't come from the cosmos. White folks don't know nothing about the cosmos. When the cosmos wanted to live on Earth and experience humanity, honey, it existed as the black man, the black woman. That's it, and that's motherfucking all. I don't know where white folks came from. You're cool somebody. I don't know how it happened, but I know they didn't come from up there. No, they might go back to dirt. Everybody in flesh go back to dirt because we do. Go back to dirt. Yeah, so yeah, that's a whole story in itself. I know caveman, if he's still there, like, that don't make no sense. You supposed to been gone. You supposed to been gone. Shit. But I digress. Readers may be asking themselves, but if the neighborhood is really dangerous, why is acknowledging this danger a sign of racism? Research and implicit bias has shown that perceptions of criminal activity are influenced by race. White people will perceive danger simply by the presence of black people. We cannot trust our perceptions when it comes to race and crime. But regardless of whether the neighborhood is actually more or less dangerous than other neighborhoods, what is salient about this exchange is how it functions racially and what that means for white people engaged in it. For my friend and me, this conversation did not increase our awareness of the danger of some specific neighborhood. Rather, the exchange reinforced our fundamental beliefs about black people. Toni Morrison used the term race talk to capture the explicit insertion into everyday life of racial signs and symbols that have no meaning other than positioning African Americans into the lowest level of the racial hierarchy. Casual race talk is a key component of white racial framing because it accomplishes the interconnected goals of elevating whites while demeaning people of color. Race talk always implies a racial us and them. Toni Morrison, I didn't know about her either. Brilliant mind. And once her father told her that white people was motherfucking crazy as fuck, she ain't never worry with them. Worry about them. Worry with them. Worry about them. Never once let them stress her out. Brilliant mind. Just tell our babies the truth. I don't know. Hell, it's still in them. Shit, I ain't seen no change in them. Shit, Martin told y'all motherfuckers to judge them. Judge people, whoever judging who, by your character. If he were back today, when he come back, whoever see him first, before I see him answer. Martin, if you had one more speech, what would you gonna tell us? He was gonna tell us, Black America, judge white America by their culture, how the fuck they treating you. Well, you know you ain't gonna hurt Sabrina. You love Sabrina, Sabrina love you. Y'all go shopping together and babysit for each other and all that good stuff. But this is bigger than your ass and Sabrina motherfucking ass. Hell, you can't go nowhere without Sabrina sniffing up your ass. Everybody know you and Sabrina is thick like thieves. But they culture out there. Your ass, you so up in Sabrina ass too. She can't go nowhere. You gonna pick me up? I'll go with y'all. What is white America doing to Black America out here? Everybody that come over here treat us like white folks. Everybody here, they got it on their identification card now. Caucasian, white. Yep, they finna reclassify Black America again with the new census. A meteor or a missile might come through and blow all of your goddamn asses up. Still trying to exterminate Black people, finna depopulate the planet. Everybody finna get some of this oppression. That's what Martin was talking about. Everybody finna get some of this motherfucking oppression now. So is get goddamn it ready. Just prepare, Black America. Don't you worry. You just prepare. We done been through some hard ass times, but we gotta survive this. We must survive this. For Mother Earth to go back all black, at one time she was all black. She done been so mutilated by white America. Here, there, all over the world. White America, way over in Africa, cutting down trees and shit. I seen it on that movie. It's a true story too. The Boy Who Harnessed the Wind. About William, I can't think of his African last name. My brother. It's a true story too. White folks are all over there cutting down trees and shit. Thousands of trees. You know, Mother Earth got like 3 million trees on planet Earth. Yep. I think it's 3 million. But then the cosmos got like 300 million stars. You see? Because when the cosmos wanted to experience humanity and the ethers, honey, came to Earth, it had to come in the physical form. It had to exist in a body. So cosmic energy, honey, came down on a star and spread out. And that's why we dirt. We made of dirt. Them stars up there, you ain't nothing but a star. You're a god. You literally God and goddess. We have godly. We birth godly. Not kids. Children is okay. We say kids because that's what white folks say. And we say it too. Trying to be like white folks. Don't got to change everything now. The way you greet each other. Not just the way we eat, what we listen to, and what we watch on TV. We got to change everything. What we reading, you know, what we think about stuff. Don't spend all your time and shit thinking about that woman husband. I'm just saying, hey, I'm just saying. Shit, yeah. That. Yeah, we got to change everything. Everything got to change. The way we thinking and stuff, we got to start looking through a black point of view. What does this mean for us? Your ass ain't going to live on and on and on. White folk doing that so they can live forever. See, they want to live forever. And that's anti-life. Ain't nobody supposed to live forever. Ain't nobody supposed to live forever. I think it was in this Bible yours right here where somebody lived for like 900 years or something. I don't know. Don't quote me on it though. But I know our asses ain't living forever. Ain't nobody supposed to live forever. But yeah, it's all of that. Just, yeah. Twilight Zone for real. But I digress. Let's read. Consider an experience I had with aversive racism. My last academic position was in a state I had never been to before my interview. Throughout the 3 days of interviewing, other white people warned me not to buy a home in Springfield or Holyoke Yeah, holy oak, if I took the position, especially if I have children. While no one openly named race, the racial coding was not lost on me. I now knew there were people of color were I now knew where the people of color were concentrated in the area. At the same time, because no one directly mentioned race, we could all deny that this was what we were actually talking about. Returning to my hotel room the first night, I looked up the demographics. Sure enough, Springfield and Holyoke had significantly high populations, close to 50% of black and brown people. Starting on day one of my visit, my fellow whites had communicated the racial boundaries to me. Yes, honey, see, talking about race without talking about it, that's race talk. That's how your asses keep it going on, huh? That's how your motherfucking asses keep doing it. White people. My teacher education students also engaged in race talk, enforcing the boundaries between us and them while positioning us as superior. They engaged in race talk when they expressed fear about being placed in dangerous neighborhoods while describing their hometowns as shelter. These depictions are relentlessly strengthened by news stories that position violent crime committed in primarily white suburban communities as shocking, yet claiming that one has grown up in a sheltered environment raises a question that begs to be answered. Shelter from what? And in contrast to whom? If we grow up in environments with few, if any, people of color, are we not in fact less sheltered from racist conditioning because we have to rely on narrow and repetitive media representations, jokes, omissions, and warnings for our understanding of people of color? Conversely, positioning white spaces as shelter and those who are raised in them as racially innocent taps into classic narratives of people of color as not innocent. Oh, I fucked that up. Hold on. Conversely, positioning white spaces as sheltered and those who are raised in them as racially innocent taps into classic narratives of people of color as not innocent. Racist images and resulting white fears can be found at all levels of society, and Marriott studies demonstrate that white people believe that people of color, and blacks in particular, are dangerous. Whites rarely consider how sheltered and safe their spaces may be from the perspective of people of color, like an example, Trayvon Martin's experience in a gated white community. I remember there was a gated white community. I wasn't entirely sure, but I remember that that's where his father stayed, I believe. Because it reverses the actual direction of racial danger, this narrative may be one of the most pernicious. When you consider the moral judgment we make about people we deem as racist in our society, we need to deny our own racism, even to ourselves. The need to deny our own racism, even to ourselves, makes sense. We believe we are superior at a deeply internalized level and act on this belief in the practice of our lives. But we must deny this belief to fit into society and maintain our self identity as good moral people. Unfortunately, aversive racism only protects racism because we can't challenge our racial filters if we can't consider the possibilities that we have them. Of course, some white people explicitly avow racism. We might consider these whites actually more aware of and honest about their biases than those of us who consider ourselves open minded, yet who have rarely thought critically about the biases we inevitably hold or how we may be expressing them. Ooh, we honey, racism, cultural racism, adversive racism, cultural racism. I thought it was just racism. But yeah, no wonder white folk didn't want to break up all of this. Colorblind racism. Shh. They like hell. How they gonna know? I digress. Let's read. The body of research about children and race demonstrates that white children develop a sense of right superiority as early as preschool. No wonder. No wonder in the book they were her property. The little girl told her daddy to cut off her nanny ears, her slave nanny ears, and go get her a slave from the next county. And the little girl was 3 years old. But it says it right here. Now, look, you going to put your ass in my face. You're going to get down. But that's what it said. That's exactly what it said. And the little girl wasn't but 3 years old. It did not say if the daddy did it. I'm pretty sure he did. I'm pretty sure he did. Yep. Liza Anna Burwell was like many other white girls growing up in slave-holding households in Linsville, North Carolina area in 1847. She loved flowers and often strolled through her parents' garden with Fanny, the enslaved woman charged with her care. After spending so much time with Fanny, Lizzie Anna developed an intense bond with her. But one day, Lizzie Anna became vexed with Fanny. Vexed. Devilish is vexed, I guess. So she went to her father and demanded that he cut Fanny's ears off and get her, Lizzie Anna, a new maid from Clarksville. Lizzie Anna was only 3 years old. Honey, don't tell me there's done been some healing going on. You're a lie. You is a lie. This early start shouldn't be surprising, as society sends constant messages to be white is better than to be a person of color. Despite the claims of many white young adults that racism is in the past and that they were taught to see everyone as equal, research shows otherwise. For example, polls sponsored by MTV in 2014 showed that millennials profess more tolerance and a deeper commitment to equality and fairness than previous generations did. At the same time, millennials are committed to an idea of colorblindness that leaves them uncomfortable with and confused about race and opposed to measures to reduce racial inequality. Perhaps most significantly, 41% of white millennials believe that government pays too much attention to minorities, and 48% believe that discrimination against white people is as big a problem as discrimination against people of color. Many in this generation claim that the election of Barack Obama as president shows that we are post-racial. These polls were conducted before the presidency of Donald Trump, but as his election has made clear, we are far from being post-racial. Another significant study that was based on the practices of millennials rather than their claims was conducted by sociologists Leslie Picker and Joe Fegan. They asked 626 white college students at 28 colleges across the United States to keep journals and record every instance of racial issues, racial images, and racial understanding that they observed or were part of for 6 to 8 weeks. The students recorded more than 7,500 accounts of blatantly racist comments and actions by the white people in their lives. Their friends, their family, their acquaintances, the strangers, co-workers, people in the laundromat, people in the doctor's office, folks in the grocery store. That's what white folks do. Race talk. Race talk. Ain't a thing changed. They're motherfucking lying. A goddamn thing changed. Showing the fuck ain't. See that right there with Obama and stuff? Obama was just the icing on the cake to make you think. See that right there, really, they used it to their advantage. Because I know a whole lot of us, must have voted for Obama. So I voted for my brother. I believed in it we can. Yeah, I fell for the shit too. But I digress. White America used that as the catalyst, the icing on the cake, for you, Black America, to know without a doubt that racism exists no more. Yeah, that right there was to just suck you in some more. And it's just holding you right there. That's where your ass at right now. Now here come along Trump. They all went right behind your black ass and voted on Trump. Everybody did. Yeah, most of the white folks did. And, and then you got your other groups of people that voted for Trump too. The overall people that did not vote for Trump were black people. But I digress. I'm just saying that right there, you still sucked in, just held right there, still ain't tried to come out or nothing. They tried to hit the off button or nothing. Yeah. So that right there was really a setup, but white folks was really pissed off. White America was really, not Sabrina motherfucking ass. I ain't talking about Sabrina. We ain't talking about Sabrina. Sabrina might be just like John Brown. Well, I'll go with your face. I'll go with, don't be, what you coming with me for? No, you ain't coming with me. I'm just saying. But yeah, y'all know all them smoke screens and stuff. Don't be lying now. The students recorded more than 7,500 accounts from their friends, family, acquaintances, strangers, people just passing by. And yeah, these accounts come from the generation most likely to claim that they were taught to see everyone as equal. Those who grew up in the age of colorblind ideology after the Civil Rights Movement. PICA, P-I-C-C-A, and Fegan's study provides empirical evidence that racism continues to be explicitly expressed by white people, even those who are young and profess to be progressive. Consider these examples from their study. Well, ain't that something? All right. As I sit in a room with a bunch of frat guys, Phil walks in chanting, Rochi, 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 Rotchie. I don't know what it is. I ask, what that term means? And I answer with a giggle, and I am answered with a giggle and a quip. It's slang for nigger, like niggerochi. Niggerochi. Yeah, see? Yeah, I hope you're learning. Robbie. Robbie was there telling a joke. He glanced to see if anyone was around. He starts. A black man, a Latino man, and a white guy find a magical lamp on the beach. Racist joke ensues. I thought it was pretty funny, and I wasn't the only one. But I'm glad he waited till no one was around to tell it. If you didn't know Robbie, you might misunderstand. And that was Ashley. Several common dynamics are illustrated in the thousands of examples Pico and Fegan collected. The first is how much explicit racism young people are exposed to and participate in. The second is the idea that if someone is a good person, he or she cannot be racist, as demonstrated in the student's note that if someone overheard, the person might misunderstand Robbie. This sort of racism makes for a very challenging dynamic in which white people are operating under the false assumption that we can't simultaneously be good people and participate in racism. At the same time that we are dishonest about what we really think and do regarding people of color. The study also reveals a consistent pattern in how these comments and actions were expressed. The majority of incidents occurred in what the researchers describe as the backstage in an all-white company. In all-white company, backstage. That's all white, no black people back there, so they can talk freely. Like Dr. Frances Cress Wilson said. She said a white man came up in one of her lectures and told her, yeah, Dr. Frances, you're right. When y'all not around, we talk about y'all. We talk about y'all, and y'all still do. White folks still do. Stop lying. Furthermore, they found that white folks involved in these incidents most often played predictable roles. Typically, there was a protagonist who initiated the racist act, a cheerleader who encouraged it through laughter or agreement, the spectators who stood in silence, and very rarely, that's in parentheses, a dissenter who objected. Virtually all dissenters were subjected to a form of peer pressure in which they were told that it was only a joke and that they should lighten up. Oh, it's just a joke, Bobby, lighten up. So that's how other whites don't say nothing and stuff. And if you do continue to say it and stuff, then that's probably when they might jerk you up and stuff. I don't know. I'm not white. The researchers document that in front stage settings, those in which people of color were present, the white students displayed a range of racially conscious behaviors, including the following: acting overly nice, avoiding contact, like crossing the street or not going to a particular bar or club, mimicking black mannerisms and speech, being careful not to use racial terms or labels, using code words to talk negatively about people of color, occasional violence directed at people of color. In backstage settings where people of color were not present, white students often use humor to reinforce racial stereotypes about people of color, particularly black people. Pico and Fegan argue that the purpose of these backstage performances is to create white solidarity and to reinforce the ideology of white and male supremacy. This behavior keeps racism circulating, albeit in less formal but perhaps more powerful ways than in the past. Today, We have a cultural norm that insists we hide our racism from people of color and deny it among ourselves, but not that we actually challenge it. In fact, we are socially penalized for challenging racism. I'm often asked if I think the younger generation is less racist. No, I don't. In some ways, racism adaptations over time are more sinister than concrete rules such as Jim Crow. The adaptations produce the same outcome, people of color being blocked from moving forward, but have been put in place by a dominant white society that won't or can't admit to its beliefs. This intransigence results in another pillar of white fragility, the refusal to know. And thank you, ancestors. Honey, we made it to chapter 4. Yes, we did. Honey, baby child. Let me see. How many chapters is in this book? Because I'm thinking, am I going to read chapter 4? And just don't talk. 12? 8 more chapters to go? Yeah. All right, let's do it then. All right. And I love y'all. Thank you for your patience and your presence. I'm just going to read on through it. Yep. Chapter 4. How does race shape the lives of white people? Ooh. White people. And oh, I think I got one of her books. Yes, white people. I don't want you to understand me better. I want you to understand yourselves. Your survival has never depended on your knowledge of white culture. In fact, it's required your ignorance. I think she writes poems, and I got one of her poem books. I won't see. I ain't even got my glasses on, but I'm gonna see if I can find it. Her name is Ijeoma Oluo. Oluo. Ijeoma Oluo. Ijeoma Oluo. To understand how white people become so difficult in conversations about race, we need to understand the underlying foundation of white fragility. How being white shapes our perspectives, our experiences, and our responses. Every aspect of being white discussed in this chapter is shared by virtually all the white people in the Western context generally, and the United States context specifically. At the same time, no person of color in this context can make these same claims. That I can't be racist, because if I was, everybody get your ass up and get out. Everybody get your ass up and get out. $5 Indians too, and take Sabrina and Karen, Ken, Brad. Everybody get up and take your cats and your dogs and your birds with you. And that's probably when the dog gonna say, "Who? Who? I ain't going white folks." I digress though. Belonging. I was born into a culture in which I belong, racially. Indeed, the forces of racism were shaping me even before I took my first breath. If I were born in a hospital, regardless of the decade in which I was born, any hospital would be open to me because my parents was white. If my parents attended a childbirth preparation class, the instructor was most likely white. The videos they watched in class most likely depicted white people, and their fellow classmates with whom they built connections and community were also most likely white. When my parents read their birthing manuals and other written materials, the pictures most likely depicted primarily white mothers and white fathers and white doctors and white nurses. If they took a parenting class, the theories and models of child development were based on white racial identity. The doctors and nurses attending my birth were in all likelihood white people. Although my parents may have been anxious about the birth process, they did not have to worry about how they would be treated by the hospital staff because of their race. The years of research demonstrating racial discrimination in healthcare assure me that my parents were more likely to have been treated well by hospital personnel and to receive a higher caliber of care than would people of color. And we got medical apartheid over there too. And don't forget about Adriana Smith. Yep. Conversely, the people who cleaned my mother's hospital room, did the laundry, cooked and cleaned in the cafeteria, and maintained the facilities were most likely people of color. The very context in which I entered the world was organized hierarchically by race. Based on this hierarchy, we could predict whether I would survive my birth based on my race. As I move through my daily life, my race is unremarkable. I belong when I turn on the TV. Read best-selling novels, and when I watch blockbuster movies. I belong when I walk past the magazine racks at the grocery store or drive past billboards. I belong when I see the overwhelming number of white people on lists of the most beautiful. I may feel inadequate in light of my age or weight, but I will belong racially. For example, in 2017, singer Rihanna introduced a makeup line for women of all skin colors. Gratitude for women of color poured in. Many of their tweets included the exclamation, "Finally!" These are tweets I have never needed to send because she got them everywhere. I belong when I look at my teachers, my counselors, and my classmates. I belong when I learn about the history of my country throughout the year and when I am shown its heroes and heroines. George Washington owned slaves. Thomas Jefferson owned slaves. Abraham Lincoln, Robert E. Lee, Amelia Earhart, Susan B. Anthony, John Glenn, Sally Ride, and Louisa May Alcott. But when I look through my textbooks and at the pictures of my classroom on my classroom walls, I belong. I belong when I speak to my children's teachers, when I talk to their camp counselors, when I consult with their doctors and dentists. No matter how I might explain why all those representations are overwhelmingly white, they still shape my identity and worldview. In virtually every situation or context deemed normal, neutral, or prestigious in society, I belong racially. This belonging is a deep and ever-present feeling that has always been with me. Belonging has settled deep into my consciousness. It shapes my daily thoughts and concerns, what I reach for in life, and what I expect to find. The experience of belonging is so natural that I don't have to even think about it. The rare moments in which I don't belong racially come as a surprise that I can either enjoy for its novelty or easily avoid it if I find it unsettling and go on back to my white neighborhood. For example, I was invited to the retirement party of a white friend. The party was a potluck picnic held in a public park. As I walked down the slope toward the picnic shelters, I noticed two parties going on side by side. One gathering was primarily composed of white people, and the other appeared to be all black people. I experienced a sense of disequilibrium as I approached and had to choose which party was my friend's. I felt a mild sense of anxiety as I considered that I might have to enter the all black group. Then mild relief as I realized that my friend was in the other group. This relief was amplified as I thought that I might have mistakenly walked over to the black party. All these thoughts and feelings happened in just a few seconds, but they were a rare moment of racial self-awareness. The mere possibility that I might have to experience not belonging racially was enough to raise racial discomfort. The mere possibility that I might have to experience not belonging racially was enough to raise racial discomfort. It is rare for me to experience a sense of not belonging racially. She said it's rare. And these are usually very temporary, easily avoidable situations. Indeed, throughout my life, I have been warned that I should avoid situations in which I might be a racial minority. Same thing I tell y'all asses. Tell your kids and stuff, your children, your godly. Watch themselves around white people. Now, I know him and Tommy have been knowing each other since they was in grade school and shit, but shit is different now. Tommy asked would let his Uncle Bob and Granddaddy Joe Billy come and get your son just like Quavon Charles. His friend, him and his white friend. And the boy mama brought her 17-year-old son to pick up Quavon Charles and took him to her house. Ain't told his mama, dad, ain't blew the horn, ain't went up and rung the doorbell, ain't called him, ain't asked could he come, ain't introduced themselves, nothing. Quavon found dead in the rice field. She talking about the mama named Janet Irvin. She talking about they smoked some weed. First of all, why you go get a 15-year-old to go hang out with your motherfucking ass, your 17-year-old white son? Probably got over there and some of his other friends and family was there. And maybe they did start out smoking some weed. But whatever the fuck happened, shit, they ass turned on Quavon. Shit, hell, they can tell themselves about it and they family, they kids about it, but you ain't supposed to tell your guardian about it. Shit, same way y'all asses tell, don't you take your ass down there with Tyrone there. You know I can't stand Ray Ray. How come your auntie told me she seen your ass down there with Ray Ray? And I tell you, keep your ass away from out there, hit him upside his head. Stay your ass away from down there with Ray Ray. But you won't say no goddamn thing about Ken and Brad and Karen them with. I'm just saying here, they do it. Why the fuck your ass can't do it? Oh, I don't see racism face. We all one. We all bleed red. But I digress. Yeah. These situations are often presented as scary, dangerous, or sketchy. Being with black people, just a white person with black people. We ain't even got no history of jumping on white folks like that and shit. We got history of jumping on each other. Yeah, I wish y'all ass would try to jump face. Yeah, I'm going to tell them. Yep. Yet if the environment or situation is viewed as good, nice, or valuable, it can be confident that as a white person, I will be seen as racially belonging there. Yep. That's kind of like your, well, never mind, I digress. Freedom from the burden of race. Because I haven't been socialized to see myself or to be seen by other whites in racial terms, I don't carry the psychic weight of race. I don't have to worry about how others feel about my race, nor do I worry that my race will be held against me. While I may feel unease in an upper class environment, I will take for granted that I belong racially in those settings. In these settings, I certainly will not be the only white person there unless the event is specifically organized by or celebrating people of color. George Zimmerman would not have stopped me as I walked through a gated suburban neighborhood. Patrick Rosal writes poignantly about the pain of being mistaken for the help at a black tie event celebrating National Book Award winners. Patrick Rosal writes poignantly about the pain of being mistaken for the help at a black tie event celebrating National Book winners. He might have been the author. I have witnessed this assumption of servitude many times as I checked into hotels with colleagues of color. I have made this assumption myself when I have been unable to hide my surprise that the black man is the school principal, or when I asked a Latinx woman kneeling in her garden if this is her home. As I consider career choices, I will have countless role models across a vast array of fields. When I apply for a job, virtually anyone in a position to hire me will share my race. And although I may encounter a token person of color during the hiring process, if I am not specifically applying to an organization founded by people of color, the majority of those I interact with will share my race. Once hired, I won't have to deal with my coworkers' resentment that I only got the job because I'm white. I am assumed to be the most qualified. If there are people of color in the organization who resent my hire, I can easily dismiss them and rest assured that their feelings won't carry much weight. If resentment from employees of color does manage to come to my attention, I can find copious validation and other support from my white coworkers who will reassure me that our colleagues of color are the ones who are biased. With race as a non-issue, I can focus on my work and productivity and be seen as a team player. This is yet another example of the concept of whiteness as property discussed earlier. Whiteness has psychological advantages that translate into material returns. As I move through my day, racism just isn't my problem. While I am aware that race has been used unfairly against people of color, I haven't been taught to see this problem as any responsibility of mine. As long as I personally haven't done anything I'm aware of, racism is a non-issue. This freedom from responsibility gives me a level of racial relaxation and emotional and intellectual space that people of color are not afforded as they move through their day. They don't lack these benefits just because they are members of a numerical minority. And I am not. White men are a numerical minority. People of color lack these benefits because they are racialized within a culture of white supremacy, a culture in which they are seen as inferior, if they are seen at all. Raised in a culture of white supremacy, I exclude a deeply internalized assumption of racial superiority. Having to navigate white people's internalized assumption of racial superiority is a great psychic drain for people of color, but I have no need to concern myself with that. I'll repeat that again. Having to navigate white people's internalized assumption of racial superiority is a great psychic drain for people of color, but I have no need to concern myself with that. See, Black America, we is this close from losing our whole sanity. If it wasn't for our greatest thinkers, our greatest minds, Dr. Claude Anderson, definitely. If it wasn't for Dr. John Ben Johachanan and Dr. Amos Wilson and all of them, Dr. Delbert Blair and George Frazier and Carol Anderson, all of our greatest, Dick Gregory, Francis Chris Weldon, Fannie Lou Hamer. If it wasn't for all of them stuff, we wouldn't even have no sanity right today. I know I tried to go back and forward and try to just, all our greatest minds are experts, are brave fighters for us, our saviors. If it wasn't for them, we wouldn't even have no motherfucking sanity. And that's how white America want it. White America want to be your black ass. That's been the plan the whole time. I don't know if they intended to actually become you, but that's who they evolving into. And some of y'all, that's who you, sister, is evolving into them. So to actually divide, to reclassify Black America again, with this new census division, or however they're going to do it and stuff, yeah. Freedom of movement. I am free to move in virtually any space seen as normal, neutral, or vulnerable. I might worry about my class status in some settings. For example, when attending a high society event, such as a museum opening or an art auction, I would not have to worry about my race. In fact, my race will work in my favor in these settings, granting me the initial benefit of the doubt that I belong there. I also will certainly not be the only white person there unless the event is specifically organized by or celebrating people of color. In the early years of my career as a workplace diversity trainer, I co-led the workshops with Deborah, an African-American woman. After a particularly grueling travel schedule, I proposed that we get away for a relaxing weekend and suggested Lake Coeur d'Alene in Idaho. Deborah laughed at the suggestion and let me know that visiting northern Idaho did not sound like a relaxing weekend for her. Besides, being a very small town, Lake Coeur d'Alene is near Hayden Lake, where the Aryan Nation was building a compound. Although not all people who live in the area are avowed white nationalists, the knowledge that some people might be a part of this openly racist group was terrifying for Deborah. Even if there were no organized white nationalist encampments in the area, Deborah did not want to be isolated in a virtually all-white environment and have to interact with white people who may have never met a black person before in their life. Yet, as a white person, I did not have to consider any of this. In places, all places I perceive as beautiful are open to me racially, and my expectation is that I will have a pleasant and relaxing experience there. And it's still the same way. Just people. Another way that my life has been shaped by being white is that my race is held up as the norm for humanity. White people are just people. Our race is rarely, if ever, named. Think about how often white people mention the race of a person if they are not white. My black friend, the Asian woman. I enjoy young adult literature, but I'm taken aback by how consistently the race of characters of color is named and how only those character races are named. To use an example from school, consider the writers we are all expected to read. The list includes Ernest Hemingway, John Steinbeck, Charles Dickens, Theodore Dostoevsky, Mark Twain, Jane Austen, and William Shakespeare. These writers are seen as representing the universal human experience, and we read them precisely because they are presumed to be able to speak to us all. Now consider the writers we turn to during events promoting diversity. Events such as Multicultural Authors Week and Black History Month. These writers usually include Maya Angelou, Toni Morrison, James Baldwin, Amy Tan, Sandra Cisneros. We could go to these writers for the Black and Asian perspective. Toni Morrison is always seen as a Black writer, not just a writer. But when we are looking back, but when we are not looking for the Black or Asian perspective, we return to white writers, reinforcing the idea of whites as just human and people of color as particular kinds, racialized, of humans. This allows this also allows white male writers to be seen as not having an agenda or any particular perspective, while racialized and engendered writers do. Virtually any representation of human is based on white people's norms and images. Flesh colored makeup, standard emoji, depictions of Adam and Eve, Jesus and Mary, educational models of the human body with white skin and blue eyes. Take, for example, a photograph that was circulated widely and featured in the Daily Mail. The photo of a blonde, blue eyed white woman is captioned, "What would a scientifically perfect face look like?" What would a scientifically perfect face look like? Below the image is the question, is this the perfect face? This one example illustrates several concepts discussed so far. Thus far, the white racial frame, whiteness as the human norm, whiteness as idea of beauty, and whiteness as naturally superior. Not only is the idea behind the claim racially problematic in its own right, but it rests on and reinforces the backdrop of an earlier era on scientific racism. Consider models for child development and its stages, and how our culture talks about children as a collective group. Theorists present Theorists present human development as if it were universal. Occasionally, we may distinguish between boys and girls, but even then, the categories are presumed to include all boys or all girls. Now, consider all the dynamics I have discussed thus far. Is an Asian or an indigenous child's development the same as a white child's within the context of white supremacy? White solidarity. White solidarity is the unspoken agreement among white people to protect white advantage and not cause another white person to feel racial discomfort by confronting them when they say or do something racially problematic. Educational researcher Christine Sleeter describes this solidarity as white racial bonding. She observes that when white people interact, they affirm a common stance on race related issues, legitimating particular interpretations of groups of color, and drawing conspiratorial we-they boundaries. White solidarity requires both silence about anything that exposes the advantage of the white position and tacit agreement to remain racially united in the protection of white supremacy. To break white solidarity is to break rank. I can't say for sure if Sabrina go through all this with you. White folks might decide, yeah, it's been good for now, and you know I love you, and you know I love my nieces and nephews and stuff, but I gotta go on back over here to my side. I'm just saying, time will tell. You just be loyal to you. Because white folks sure gonna be loyal to them. We see white solidarity at the dinner tables, at parties, and in work settings. Many of us can relate to the big family dinner at which Uncle Bob says something racially offensive. Billy Bob, yep, told you. Everyone cringes, but no one challenges him because nobody wants to ruin the dinner. Or the party where someone tells a racist joke, but we keep silent because we don't want to be accused of being too politically correct or to be told to lighten up. In the workplace, we avoid naming racism for the same reasons, in addition to wanting to be seen as a team player and to avoid anything that may jeopardize our career advancement. All these familiar scenarios are examples of white solidarity. While speaking up about racism would ruin the ambience or threaten our career advancement, is something we might want to talk about. The very real consequences of breaking white solidarity play a fundamental role in maintaining white supremacy. We do indeed risk censure and other penalties For our fellow white people, though, we might be accused of being politically correct or might be perceived as angry, humorless, combative, and not suited to go far in an organization. Oh. In my own life, these penalties have worked as a form of social courage. Seeking to avoid conflict and wanting to be liked, I have chosen silence all too often. Conversely, when I kept quiet about racism, I was rewarded with social capital such as being seen as fun and cooperative and a team player. Notice that within the white supremacist society, I am rewarded for not interrupting racism and punished in a range of ways, big and small. When I do, I can justify my silence by telling myself that at least I am not the one who made the joke and that therefore I'm not at fault. Or maybe I didn't laugh. Or, something like that. Yeah. But my silence is not benign because it protects and maintains the racial hierarchy and my place within it. Each uninterrupted joke furthers the circulation of racism through the culture, and the ability for the joke to circulate depends on my complicity. People of color, white folks, people of color certainly experience white solidarity as a form of racism, wherein we fail to hold each other accountable, to challenge racism when we see it, or to support people of color in the struggle for racial justice. Ooh, be the good old days. Oh, I'm sorry, boy. I didn't know you were there. Oh, I don't know if we're going to get through with this chapter right here. I think it's longer. Oh, we might. Let me just read. I'll read. The good old days. As a white person, I can openly and unabashedly reminisce about the good old days. Romanticized recollections of the past and calls for a return to former ways are a function of white privilege, which manifests itself in the ability to remain oblivious to our racial history. Claiming that the past was socially better than the present is also a hallmark of white supremacy. Consider any period in the past from the perspective of people of color. 246 years of brutal enslavement, the rape of black women for the pleasure of white men and to produce more enslaved workers, the selling off of black children, the attempted genocide of indigenous people, Indian removal acts and reservations, indentured servitude, lynching, mob violence, sharecropping, Chinese exclusion laws, Japanese American internment, Jim Crow laws of mandatory segregation, black codes, bans on black jury services, bans on voting, imprisoning people for unpaid work, medical sterilization and experimentation, employment discrimination, and education discrimination, inferior schools, bias laws and policy and practices, redlining and subprime mortgages, mass incarceration, racist media representations, cultural erasures, attacks, and mockery, and untold and perverted historical accounts. And you can see how a romanticized past is strictly a white construct. But it is a powerful construct because it calls out to a deeply internalized sense of superiority and entitlement, and the sense that any advancement for people of color is an encroachment on this entitlement. The past was great for white people, and white men in particular, because their positions went largely unchallenged. In understanding the power of white fragility, we have no choice than the mere questioning of those positions triggered by white fragility that Trump capitalized on. There has been no actual loss of power for the white elite, who have always controlled our institutions and continue to do so by a very wide margin. Of the 50 richest people on earth, 29 are American. Of these 29, all of them are white, and all but 2 are men. Lauren Jobs inherited her husband's wealth, and Alice Walton inherited her father's. Similarly, the white working class has always held the top positions within blue-collar fields, like the overseers and the labor leaders and fire and police chiefs. And although globalization and the erosion of workers' rights has had a profound impact on the white working class, white fragility enabled the white elite to direct the white working class's resentment towards people of color. The resentment is clearly misdirected, given that the people who control the economy and who have managed to concentrate more wealth into fewer white hands than ever before in human history are the white elite. Consider this data on the distribution of wealth. And you know, they're not reading the Powernomics. It's over there on this shelf. They're not reading the Powernomics. We've been learning about the three major the three major impediments that we got. And the number one is the maldistribution of the wealth. Sure wills. But let's consider this data on the distribution of wealth. I wanted to say something about this right here. Yeah. Oh, when she was giving all this right here, a little rundown on this ain't all. This ain't all right here that Black America been dealing with. You've been dealing with agendas, projects, operations, events, laws, codes, memorandums. You've been dealing with so much. She mentioned the redlining and the black codes and stuff. So much Black America. Courses and studies on you. Learn it, baby child. Since 2015, the richest 1% has owned more wealth than the rest of the planet owned. And that's since 2015. 8 men own the same amount of wealth as do the poorest half of the world. The income of the poorest 10% of people increased by less than $3 a year between 1988 and 2011, while the income of the richest 1% increased 182 times as much. So 10% of the people, the poorest, the incomes of 10% of the poorest people got an increase of $3. $3 between 1988 and 2011. But the income of the richest 1%, the income of the poorest 10%. Yeah, the poorest 10%. So you take 10% of the people, the poorest ones, that ain't got nothing. They cut their pencils down and make three pencils out of them, so all the children to have a pencil. Well, they got $3. A $3 increase to their income. However, the richest 1% got an increase that was 82 times more. In Bloomberg's daily ranking of the world's 500 richest people, the world's wealthiest three is Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, and Jeff Bezos. All white American men have total net worths of $85 billion for Bill Gates, $79 billion for Warren Buffett, and $73 million. I suppose that's for Jeff Bezos. They ain't together, but it's right under, respectively. By comparison, the 2015 gross domestic product of Sri Lanka was $82 billion. Luxembourg was $58 billion, and Iceland was $16 billion. Of the world's 10 richest people, 9 of them are white men. In 2015 to 2016, the world's 10 biggest corporations together had revenue greater than that of the government revenues of 180 countries combined. In the United States, over the last 30 years, the growth in the incomes of the bottom 50% has been zero, whereas incomes of the top 1% have grown by 300 motherfucking percent. The call to make America great again worked powerful. It worked powerfully in service of the call to make America great again worked powerfully in service of the racial manipulation of white people, diverting blame away from the white elite and toward various peoples of color. For example, undocumented workers, immigrants, and the Chinese for the current conditions of the white working class. Yep. Oh, wait! The call to make America great again worked powerfully in service of the racial manipulation of white people, diverting blame away from the white elite and towards various peoples of color for the current conditions of the white working class. Didn't I tell y'all they gonna turn around and flip all this shit on you, Black America? And then I still mean that too. Add that missile and that meteor in with it. But yeah, they gonna turn around and flip this shit on you. The romanticized traditional family values of the past are also racially problematic. White families fled from cities to the suburbs to escape the influx of people of color, a process sociologists term white flight. They wrote covenants to keep schools and neighborhoods segregated and forbade cross-racial dating. Yep, they forbade cross-racial dating. Consider the extreme resistance to busing and other forms of school integration from white parents. In the landmark Supreme Court decision, Brown versus Board of Education, the court ruled that separate was inherently unequal and that schools needed to desegregate with all deliberate speed. Busing children from one neighborhood into a school and another neighborhood to account for residential segregation became a major strategy of desegregation. Notably, white children were generally not bused into predominantly black schools. Instead, black children endured long bus rides to attend predominantly white schools. Regina Williams, a black student from Roxbury, Massachusetts, was bused into a school in South Boston. She described her first day in a formerly all-white school like a war zone. School officials, politicians, the courts, and the media gave precedence to the desires of white parents who overwhelmingly and vehemently opposed school desegregation. It has not been African Americans who resist integration efforts. It has always been white folks. The practice of our lives as a white collective have rarely been in alignment with the values we profess. At the minimum, this idealization of the past is another example of white experiences and perceptions positioned as universal. How make this nostalgia sound to any person of color who is aware of this country's history? The ability to erase this racial history and actually believe that the past was better than the present for everybody has inculcated a false consciousness for me personally and as a national citizen. Woo, white racial innocence. White people, because we are not raised to see ourselves in racial terms or to see white space as racialized space, we position ourselves as innocent of race. On countless occasions, I've heard white people claim that because they grew up in segregation, they were sheltered from race. At the same time, we turn to people of color, who may also have grown up in racially segregated spaces. Because of decades of de jure and de facto policies that block them from moving into white neighborhoods to learn about racism. But why aren't people of color who grew up in segregation also innocent of race? I ask my readers to reflect deeply on the idea that white segregation is racially innocent. Because people of color are not seen as racially innocent, they are expected to break the issues of race, but must do so on white terms, though. This idea that racism is not a white problem enables us to sit back and let people of color take the real risk of invalidation and retaliation as they share their experiences. But we are not required to take similar cross-racial risks. They, not we, have race, and thus they are holders of racial knowledge. In this way, we position ourselves as standing outside hierarchical social relations. White flight may be seen as another aspect of white racial innocence, as it is often justified by beliefs of people of color that people of color, again, especially black people, are more prone to crime, and that if too many black people move into a neighborhood, crime will increase, home values will go down, and the neighborhood will deteriorate. For example, in a study of race and perceptions of crime conducted by sociologists Heather Johnson and Thomas Shapiro, white families consistently discuss fear of crime and associated crime with people of color. In their minds, the more people of color in the area, specifically blacks and Latinos, the more dangerous the area was perceived to be. Research matching census data and police department crime statistics show that this association does not hold, but these statistics do not quell white fears. For most white people, The percentage of young black men of color in a neighborhood is directly correlated with perceptions of the neighborhood level crime level. To see black men, that's what they see, that the crime level goes up. Deeply held white associations of black people with crime distort reality and the actual direction of danger that has historically existed between white people and black people. The vast history of extensive and brutal explicit violence perpetrated by white people and their ideological rationalizations are all trivialized through white claims of racial innocence. The power we now wield and have wielded for centuries is thus obscured. It has been well documented that black people and Latinos are stopped by police more often than white people are for the same activities, and that they receive harsher sentences than white people do for the same crimes. Research has also shown that a major reason for this racial disparity can be attributed to the beliefs held by judges and others about the cause of the criminal behavior. For example, the criminal behavior of white juveniles is often seen as caused by external factors. The youth comes from a single parent home. He having a hard time right now. He just happened to be at the wrong place at the wrong time, or he was bullied at school. His girlfriend told him to do it. I'm just saying, these are excuses for the white juvenile. Attributing the cause of the action to external factors lessens the person's responsibility and classifies the person as a victim, him or herself. But black and Latinx youth are not afforded the same compassion. When black and Latinx youth go before a judge, the cause of the crime is more often attributed to something internal to the person. The youth is naturally more prone to crime, is more animalistic, and has less capacity for remorse. Similarly, a 2016 study found that half of a sample of medical students and residents believe that black people feel less pain. And this was in 2016, 9 years ago. Ain't that some shit? White people, going back to James Sims. What's his name? James Marion Sims. That black people didn't feel pain, where he was what did it say? He was operating on black women, just digging black women, just digging them out, just reaching in there, just cutting them out. No anesthesia, no numbing pain, no nothing. Didn't even know what was wrong with him. He just in there digging around, cutting and stuff. Little babies, that shoe thing that you stick off in your shoe, that real sharp thing. I forgot what it's called. He was using that on black babies, saying that black babies was mentally challenged or something. That some were wrong with the mom and the daddy. So some were wrong with the baby. Maybe the baby had an elongated head. I don't know. When it come down to the womb, it stretched the baby head and stuff. I don't know what the man problem was, but he would take that sharp object and plunge it into the baby's skull. I think he said something about, until the baby got the soft spot and the baby head is real soft. It take a while to develop. But he said something was wrong with the babies. And who was that? Dr. Joy DeGraw was talking about it. And she said, white folks ain't never had no therapy. Ain't had no healing. We ain't either for that matter. But hey, we ain't the ones that did all this inhumane stuff. We fucked up and crazy now from dealing with white America. God damn it, don't tell me why we out there stampeding. Hate ourselves, hate our mama, our children, each other, our people. Don't tell me why we out there like that. We out there like that because of white America motherfucking ass, see. Because your asses want to stay around them. You don't want to get away from them. You keep thinking they're going to accept you. Oh, as long as I can get a bag. As long as I can get a bag and I'll be in my 3-bedroom house and 2 garage, 1.5 bath. Oh, don't get a mini mansion. Oh, honey, you think you white then. I'm just saying. Shit. Fuck the dumb shit. For those of us, white folks, who work to raise the racial consciousness of white people, simply getting white people to acknowledge that our race gives us advantages is a major effort. The defensiveness, denial, and resistance are deep. But acknowledging advantage is only a first step. And this acknowledgement can be used in a way that renders it meaningless and allows us white people to exempt ourselves from further responsibility. For example, I have often heard white people dismissively say, Just because of the color of my skin, I have privilege. Statements like this describe privilege as if it's a fluke, something that just happens to us as we move through life, with no involvement or complicity on our part. Critical race scholar Zeus Leonardo critiques the concept of white privilege as something white people receive unwittingly. He says that this concept is analogous to suggesting that a person can walk through life with other people, stuffing money into his or her pockets without any awareness or consent on the walker's part. Leonardo challenges this conceptualization, which positions white privilege as innocence, by arguing that for white racial hegemony to saturate everyday life, it has to be secured by a process of domination or those acts, decisions, and policies that white subjects perpetrate on people of color. I'll read that again because, I didn't know I was going to say that. Leonardo challenges this conceptualization, which positions white privilege as innocence, by arguing that for white racial hegemony to saturate everyday life, it has to be secured by a process of domination or those acts, decisions, and policies that white subjects perpetrate on people of color. So it's either going to be a process of denomination, running your ass over, or they either going to have to use some acts and decisions and policies and slam some doors in your face. Just slam the door in your face. Now we're closed, or making it too expensive for you. You're not welcome. Yeah, that type of thing and stuff. But that's basically what she's saying. Oh, the policies and stuff that they perpetrate on people of color, viewing privilege as something that white people are just handed, obscures the systematic dimensions of racism that must be actively and passively, consciously and unconsciously maintained. The expectation that people of color should teach white people about racism is another aspect of white racial innocence that reinforces several problematic racial assumptions. First, it implies that racism is something that happens to people of color and has nothing to do with us, and that we consequently cannot be expected to have any knowledge of it. This framework denies that racism is a relationship in which both groups are involved. By leaving it to people of color to tackle racial issues, we offload the tensions and social dangers of speaking openly onto them. We can ignore the risk ourselves and remain silent on questions of our own culpability. So, see, that's why it's time for us to separate from y'all motherfucking asses. See, that's why it's goddamn it time to separate from y'all asses. Now here, you got one of your own sisters or another white woman telling your motherfucking ass what you need to do. My brother wrote a whole book for you telling you what to do. You ain't did nothing. You ain't done nothing to change yourself, white America. We done. Fuck the dumb shit. It's over. It's a wrap. It is a wrap, honey. I done told you what to do. If y'all want to come through this wilderness, you want to come through this wilderness as one? Because if we don't come through it as one, you ain't going to survive. You ain't going to make it through this. I know it look like you're going to be protected again, and it's your brothers, it's your government, it's your protector that's building it all up and shit. But hell, this finna crash down on your ass. This finna crash down on your ass. And if Mother Gaia get to you first, I'm just saying. Honey, I'm just motherfucking saying. How we gonna teach white people. That's what white folks expecting us to do, teach them. They created the shit. White folks created racism. Dr. George Fraser said we can't teach white folks now. We can't heal white folks. We just gonna be wasting some more time. Y'all, we can't do it. But I digress. Let's read. Second, this request requires nothing of us and reinforces equal power relations by asking people of color to do our work. There are copious resources available on the subject generated by people of color who are willing to share the information. Why haven't we sought it out before this conversation? Third, the request ignores the historical dimensions of race relations. It disregards how often people of color have indeed tried to tell us white folks what racism is like for them and how often they have been dismissed. White people. To ask people of color to tell us how they experience racism without first building a trusting relationship and being willing to meet them halfway by also being vulnerable shows that we are not racially aware and that this exchange will probably be invalidating for them. Segregated lives. On a television talk show in 1965, James Baldwin responded passionately to a Yale professor's argument that Baldwin always concentrated on color. I don't know if white Christians hate Negroes or not, but I know that we have a Christian church that is white and a Christian church which is black. I know that the most segregated hour in American life is high noon on Sunday. I don't know whether the labor unions and their bosses really hate me, but I know I'm not in their unions. I don't know if the real estate lobby is against black people, but I do know that the real estate lobbyists keep me in the ghetto. I don't know if the Board of Education hates black people, but I know the textbooks they give me and my children to read and the schools that we have to go to. Now, this is the evidence. You want me to make an act of faith risking my life on some idealism which you assure me exists in America, which I have never seen. Life in the United States is deeply shaded by racial segregation. Of all racial groups, white people are the most likely to choose segregation and are the group most likely to be in the social and economic position to do so. Growing up in segregation, our schools, workplaces, neighborhoods, shopping districts, places of worship, entertainment, social gatherings, and elsewhere reinforces the message that our experiences and perspectives are the only ones that matter. We don't see people of color around us. As few, if any, adults acknowledge a lack of racial diversity as a problem. In fact, the classification of which neighborhoods are good and which are bad is always based on race. These assessments may also be based on economic divisions among white people. But if Black and Latinx students attend a school in significant numbers, significant in the white mind anyway, white people will perceive the school as bad. If there are people of color around us, we are seldom encouraged to build cross-racial friendships. Segregation is often lessened somewhat for poor urban whites who may live near and have friendships with people of color on the local level because white poverty brings white people into proximity with people of color in a way that suburban and middle class life does not. Y'all friends with poor white folks. I'm just saying. That's what it say right here. Yeah. Segregation is often lessened somewhat for poor urban whites who may live near and have friendships with people of color on the local level because white poverty brings white friends into proximity with people of color in a way that suburban and middle class life does not, except during gentrification, when the mixing is temporary. That's just so they can get in there and get your ass out. Urban whites from the lower classes may have more integrated lives on the micro level, but we still receive the message that achievement means moving away from the neighborhoods and schools that illuminate our poverty. Upward mobility is the great class goal in the United States, and the social environment gets tangibly wider the higher up you climb. Wider environments, in turn, are seen as the most desirable. For upwardly mobile whites from the lower classes, reaching toward the most valuable places in society usually means leaving friends and neighborhoods of colors behind. And leaving friends and neighbors of color behind. For example, I grew up urban and poor and lived in apartment buildings in crowded rental-based neighborhoods. In my neighborhood, there were many people of color around me, but I knew that if I was to improve my life, I would not stay in these neighborhoods. Upward mobility would take me to wider spaces, and it has. I did not maintain those early relationships with people of color, and no one who guided me encouraged me to do so. Segregation was still operating in my life at the wider societal level. It dictated that I learned in school, read in books, saw on TV. It dictated what I learned in school, read in books, saw on TV, and learned the value if I wanted to improve my life. Mediocrity is a precious ideology in the United States, but neighborhoods and schools are demonstrably not equal. They are separate and unequal. Tax bases, school resources, curricula, textbooks, opportunities for extracurricular activities, and the quality of the teaching staff differ widely between school districts. Who is not aware that schools in the United States are vastly unequal? Without white people's interest or effort invested in changing a system that serves them at the expense of others, advantage is passed down from generation to generation. Rather than change these conditions so that public education is equal for all, white people allow other people's children to endure conditions that would be unacceptable for our own children. A 2009 study published in the American Journal of Education found that while suburban parents, who are mostly white, say they are selecting schools on the basis of test scores, the racial makeup of a school actually plays a larger role in their school decisions. Amy Stewart Wells, a professor of sociology and education at Columbia University's Teacher College, found the same coded language when she studied how white parents choose schools in New York City. She writes, in a post-racial era, we don't have to say it's about race or the color of the kids in the building. We can concentrate poverty in kids of color and then fail to provide the resources to support and sustain those schools. And then we can see a school full of black kids and say, oh, look at their test scores. It's all very tidy now, the whole system. Readers have no doubt heard schools and neighborhoods discussed in these terms and know that this talk is racially coded. Urban and low test scores are code for not white and therefore less desirable. While many white people see spaces inhabited by more than a few people of color as desirable and even dangerous, while many white people see spaces inhabited by more than a few people of color as undesirable and even dangerous, consider another perspective. I have heard countless people of color describe how painful an experience it was to be one of the only few people of color in their schools and neighborhoods. Although many parents of color want the advantages granted by attending predominantly white schools, they also worry about the stress and even the danger they are putting their children in. These parents understand that the predominantly white teaching force has little, if any, authentic knowledge about children of color and has been socialized, often unconsciously, to see children of color as inferior and even to fear them. Imagine how unsafe white schools, which are so precious to white parents, might appear to parents of color. The most profound message of racial integration, racial segregation, the most profound message of racial segregation may be that the absence of people of color from our lives is no real loss. Not one person who loved me, guided me, or taught me ever conveyed that segregation deprived me of anything of value. I could live my entire life without a friend or a loved one of color and not see that as a diminishment of my life. And on the other hand, Black America, you cannot see your life without white America. I don't care how white, bitter, rude, just like Carolyn Bryant motherfucking ass she is. You can't see your life without her. Oh no, it's all right, Faith. It's just Miss Sue. That's Miss Sue. She all right, Faith. That's Miss Sue. Come on, let's come on in here and I will talk for a few minutes. Can't see your life without her. There's something about Miss Sue. Don't you say nothing about Miss Sue, Faith. You leave Miss Sue alone. You leave her out of it. All that old bullshit. But then white folks see their life without you. White folks is literally trying to get rid of your black ass. Oh yeah, honey. Miss Sue ain't gonna save your motherfucking ass. Sure ain't, Mr. Charlie. Hell the fuck no. Hell the fuck no. They ready to get rid of your ass, and all of them gonna let it happen. All of them gonna let it happen. This re-slavery, this new slavery they about to propose on your black ass, everybody finna let it happen, honey. So wait till everybody gone. Wait till they get rid of these few that they getting gone out here. Yeah, everybody, they finna flip. They finna serve them papers on your black ass. Sure will. You done married Mr. Charlie. Your ass done married Tommy. Your ass over there done married Brad and Ken. You done married Karen and shit. Watch when they hook back up on your black ass. Yeah, you legally married now. Yeah, you legally married your ass right back into a slave house. A slave household. Yeah, Karen finna kick that whole door off the handle. Sure will. All them hinges finna just fly off. Brad sending his old punk ass over there, and you over there with your children and stuff, with the guy and stuff. No, with your children. Cause see, you ain't all black. You done diluted yourself. You done diluted them babies and stuff. So when Karen kicked that motherfucking door in, and Brad already know what's up, Karen gonna have to let you know, cause Brad ain't gonna know what to say. Yeah, he might slap his ass around, son, too. For taking so long and enjoying it. You know, Brad been enjoying your ass the whole time. Yeah, Karen finna beat the fuck out of both of y'all and tell you and them kids, get y'all black asses out there in that field, cause we got to catch up. We got to catch up. Here you start about the seeds with me. Here your seeds. Here your hoe. There your pick over there. Your scalp or whatever the hell you need for that field out there. You thought you had a mini mansion. You thought you had a mini mansion, sis. We did too. Shit, the car come back and kick that door in, and you and them kids out there in that backyard making a new garden. Making a new motherfucking garden. Beat the hell out of me. I don't know who gonna come and rescue you. Yeah, one but one Harriet Tubman coming to save you and stuff, sneaking back to the plantation and let you know, hey, when you hear that, whoo, we leaving. But yeah, you probably done missed that chance. But I digress. Let's read. We almost done. I might meet a few people of color if I play certain sports in school, or if there happen to be one or two persons of color in my class. But when I was outside of that context, I had no proximity to people of color, much less any authentic relationships. And most white folks don't. Sure the fuck don't, and ain't trying to have none. If there is, you better be particular. You better not go by yourself. You better not go by your goddamn self. Ain't nobody gonna see you no more. Most white people who recall having a friend of color in childhood rarely keeps these friendships into adulthood. Yet, if my parents had thought it was valuable to have cross-racial relationships, they would have ensured that I had them, even if it took effort. The same effort so many white parents extend to send their children across town so they can attend a better, whiter school. Pause for a moment and consider the profundity of this message. We, white people, are taught that we, white people, lose nothing of value through racial segregation. Consider the message we send our children, as well as to children of color, when we describe white segregation as good. In summary, our socialization engenders a common set of racial patterns. These patterns are the foundation of white fragility. Let's see what this foundation is. A preference for racial segregation and a lack of a sense of loss about segregation. Whoa. A preference for racial segregation and a lack of a sense of loss about segregation. Lack of understanding about what racism is. Seeing ourselves as individuals, exempt from the forces of racial sociology, of racial socialization. Yeah. Failure to understand that we bring our group's history with us. See, didn't I tell y'all? Didn't that Bible tell you your father's deeds is yours? Your father's debts belong to you. White folk, the Bible is about black folk, but it's about you too. You the one made yourself Jesus. So that part is talking about you. That part talking about you. Here it is right here. Failure to understand that we bring our group's history with us. That history matters. Assuming everybody's having or can have our experience. Lack of racial humility and unwillingness to listen. Dismissing what we don't understand. Lack of authentic interest in the perspectives of people of color. You just ain't got no damn, you're selfish. You ain't got no sincerity. Want to jump over the hard personal work and get to solutions. Confusing disagreement with not understanding. Calm down, folks. Need to maintain white solidarity to save face and look good. The guilt that paralyzes or allows inaction. Defensiveness about any suggestion that we are connected to racism. A focus on intentions over impact. My psychosocial development was inculcated in a white supremacist culture in which I am in the superior group. Telling me to treat everyone the same is not enough to override this socialization, nor is it humanly impossible. I was raised in a society that taught me that there was no loss in the absence of people of color, that their absence was a good and desirable thing to be sought and maintained, while simultaneously denying that fact. That attitude has shaped every aspect of my self-identity, my interests and investments, what I care about and don't care about, what I see and don't see, what I'm drawn to and what I'm repelled by, what I can take for granted, where I can go, how others respond to me, and what I can ignore. White folks, most of us would not choose to be socialized into racism and white supremacy. Unfortunately, we didn't have that choice. While there is variation in how these messages are conveyed and how much we internalize them, nothing could have exempted us from these messages completely. Now it is our responsibility to grapple with how this socialization manifests itself into our daily lives and how it shapes our responses when it is challenged. Woo! Hey, we made it, honey, baby. Child, we on chapter 5. Yes, honey, we is on chapter 5. We ain't gonna be long with this book. I think I could get used to reading 2 chapters a night. Yeah, so we can go on and finish this. What we say is 12 chapters. Well, I do read the look back, the summary up on what it is and stuff. But yeah, maybe by 12 chapters. We got 7 more to go. Maybe we'll say 8 because I like to read some of the little stuff back there. Maybe I won't read their resources for continuing education. It's just some books and articles, and it's a whole lot of all my ancestors. Kennedy, Ibram, let me see, it's Ibram X. Kennedy, stamped from the beginning. And I didn't even mark that, but for some reason, I keep coming up on it. And we got the book right here. When I first saw that, we got his book right there. See? Ibram X. Kennedy. Yes, stamped from the beginning. And you think white folks ain't gonna stamp your ass, brand your ass in heaven. Don't be a fool and a dummy. Do not be a fool and a dummy, white America. They done gave you their whole vision, done told you from A to Z which way you go, how you get there, ain't but one way. Get on up there if you want to, ain't but one way there, no way out. And this is another book, How to Be an Anti-Racist by Ibram X. Kennedy. Yeah. Once I saw that one book right there, every time I see his name, I try to get his books and stuff. But that's right on time for me. And we got the notebook of books to buy. It's a whole lot of other books I got to buy also. Yeah, we're going to be here for a while. We're trying to learn what's wrong. It's time for us to break these spells, these curses. What's wrong with us? We're finding out what the fuck is really wrong with us, with my people. I am. Yeah. And it look like it's white America because white America's fucked up. Yes, honey. White folks is fucked up. And they done fucked us up. It's time to go. Those that claim they love you, claim they understand you, Black American stuff, then they know why. They know why it shouldn't be no pushback because it's time to separate. Because right now, they motherfucking ass is sitting up there watching. They sitting up there watching, talking about it. They all talking about it. How fast Trump doing? How he just taking everything back. Yeah, we've been waiting on 40 and 50, 60, 70, 100, 120. We've been waiting so long. We've been waiting decades for them to take. You mean to tell me they passing another something? Well, just let it ride out. We'll just let it ride out. Let them get all they're going to get. Eventually, we'll take it back from them. Oh, I sure wish Meemaw was here. If Meemaw was here and see that we're going back to the time she loved. Meemaw always said, damn it, when will we get them back? We lost everything. We just got to hold on. We'll get them back someday. If Meemaw was here right now, Meemaw would be so happy. Meemaw would know what to do. and she would already have the cabins, the slave cabins set up again. But see, this time right here, they're gonna put your ass in smart cities. I don't know. Maybe it's gonna be a different type of slave cabin. Oh, you got to start thinking like these folks. I didn't know none of this was going on, but yeah, that's it. We on our way. Yeah, we on our way. It's time to get the fuck down. Get the fuck away. Show wheels, honey. I mean, all of this stuff right here. I was listening to somebody and they were talking about white folks. They classify us so much. They reclassify us and classify us so much. And don't say nothing about them and stuff. We got to go back where we come from. And we're right here where we from. We the only ones that this land truly belongs to. You done, white folks, you done lied to yourself so much and everybody else so goddamn much. You got $5 Indians living, talking, thinking, yeah, and all that. Like they really are the real ones. Knowing in them doll rolls. I'm going to get into that too. In them doll rolls and stuff. Everybody bought the legacy, the land, the title, our language, bought it for $5. I'm just saying, how the hell did you do that? What did you just have everything of ours? Just, yeah, what you do? You folded it up and everybody give me $5. I give it to you. And everybody, all the white folks came from other parts of the world and stuff to get the land and gave you the $5 and you gave them all of us. And yeah, I mean, y'all motherfuckers is something else. I mean, yeah, we can't do nothing with y'all stuff. Ain't no mercy to give to y'all asses. We can't stop this judgment that's being called upon America. You can, white America. All your motherfucking ass got to do here. Tell your boys, your brothers, your big uncle. Yeah, your big Uncle Trump. Tell him. No, we don't want to be a part of this. You're going to have to stop this right here. Pay them their money. Give them their race. Give them their reparations. Give them their tangibles. You know, racist people, we are putting y'all asses out. Sending y'all asses somewhere. Give them 12 or 13 states, like brother said. Get their asses 7 or 9 states and let them be over there with each other and stuff till they do themselves in and stuff. But this is your chance, white America. Not for us, because at this point right here, I really don't give a damn. Get the fuck away from us is all I'm concerned about at this point. But for my ancestors to show y'all ass any kind of motherfucking mercy for what your ancestors did to them, honey, that's why I'm motherfucking here. Don't you ever think for 1 minute I'm here for anything else, honey. I'm right here about Willie Brown, John Hartfield, Emmett Till. You already know why I'm here. Honey, you want any kind of mercy, you better try to fix your mouth and your monies to do some right. To do some right, honey, because Babylon gonna fall either way it go. Either way it goes. Now, somebody might let you stand behind them. Somebody might sacrifice their life for you. I mean, we read about it in we just finished reading about Robert. And Robert, he would have sacrificed his life for white people. You got some black people that'll sacrifice their life for white folks. And when that bolt of lightning come down, or when that sun look at you with the eyes and stuff, and them solar flares just come at you and stuff, some black person might jump in the way for you. I ain't. However mercy gonna be meted out, it's gonna be meted out. So yeah, I don't know what else to say to you and stuff, white America. You could do something if you need to. And you need to. Yeah. Everybody reaps their father's debts and stuff. That's what the Bible said anyway. But yeah, I digress and we done for the night. I know that was long, honey. 2 chapters. And it took me 3 hours. But then I do talk a lot. And I said I'm going to work on that. I've been doing good. But, I do get to talking and stuff when I'm talking about my people. And I guess it's been a few days and stuff. But I digress. I'm going to let y'all go process all of this. We process everything. And at noontime and at midnight time. When we read, we process it all. The good, the bad, the ugly, the savage, and the ravishness. We process it. So we don't have all of this going on when we go out here and stuff. Because somebody going to look at, think, smell like Carolyn Bryan motherfucking ass. You can't have it. So, yeah, just process it so we can continue to move on and heal our people and know what we need to know. We're here to have Black babies on this planet. We're here to heal Black people on this planet. White folk take care of themselves. Once we do them two things, have Black babies, heal Black people. White folks, they'll be fine. They'll do what they're supposed to do. They probably would have been gone if you hadn't started fucking and having babies with them and giving them more numbers to themselves. You see what I'm saying? But hey, I ain't using it as no, it's fat. I ain't using it as no weapon or nothing like that. If it take them 1,000 more years, 2,000 more years to finally die out, so be it. I ain't gonna rush it on them. I'm just telling y'all Black asses, stop procreating. Have Black babies. That's all I'm saying. Let other folks have babies with white people. They'll still live on. So let other folks have babies with white people because we got work to do for us. We got work to do for us. And I would show hate for your ass to be wiped out of your gene pool, because you fell in love with Becky. And, when the shit hit the fan and Becky was like, yeah, well, I got to do what I got to do for my people. You knew that, Tommy. You knew I was going to have to. What can you do? What can you provide, Tommy? You can't provide nothing. So, just use your discernment. Think about your babies and their future and stuff. And what's really important. White folks' materialistic shit is not important at all. But I love y'all. And I'll see you. I love you to life and afterlife. I know them $5 Indians. I didn't know about them either. It's so much I'm learning this stuff. I had no idea about it. But I think I'm dealing with the betrayal very well. I think I am. I ain't had no, introduction to all of this right here. I ain't had no introduction into none of this horror. It's a wonder if I wasn't processing stuff, sometimes it take me days. Y'all don't see me and stuff. Yeah, I'll be over here still thinking about Willie and John Hartfield and stuff and Richard Coleman and John Peterson and, Isaac McGee and them and stuff. But you just process it and don't let it, be on you and stuff. Then, we got so much to do anyway with our gardens and getting ready for whatever may come, whatever is going to come, getting ready for it and stuff. But, yeah, don't worry about it. Let's just, be wary. That's it. That's all. I love you and I love you to life. I love you to life and afterlife. I don't want you to just be okay here. I want you to be okay in the afterlife. Because I wouldn't know what to do when I fly from the 12th of never. And, I come down and be flying overnight. Let me go down here by heaven. See what's down there. So I take me a star and I just ride down to heaven. Yeah, I'm riding stars now up in the afterlife, baby. I told y'all asses. So I get on my star and I'm just looking down there and I see y'all in heaven. Can't get out because they done clipped your wings off and stuff, And if you do get out of the pearly white gates, it ain't but one way. And that's the front. And God right there and Jesus bringing some more people. And then, in Red Summer on page 74, William Joseph Simmons said the Klansmen is riding horses in heaven. So that's what you got to look forward to. But if I can look down there, I can't say I can help you because at that point, now you wanted to be there. Your wings being clipped is true. They were clipped. They won't grow back. They were clipped. You different. But yeah, I'm just saying. But I love y'all to life and afterlife. And let me go because I am sleepy too. And let's just rejuvenate. And I'll see you on the next page. I love you, Layla. Good day. Hey, Tony Carter. I appreciate you too, my brother. And Cow Dog, it's so good to see you. Yes, I love y'all. I love y'all interacting with each other and stuff too. Because we got to do this with each other. And I know it's different. I'm long-winded. Yeah, I don't want to talk about nothing but Black folk. Don't you come over here talking about no Vikings with me, shit.